What is up, everybody? How you doing? It has been kind of a crazy day. My mom got checked into the hospital, and they did like every test humanly possible. I guess in 2 hours, CAT scan, blood work, the whole nine. And she checks out okay. She was in pain, but she's feeling better now. And they're sending her back home. My sister was there. I was gonna go pick her up because they were going to try to send her home in an ambulance, but it looks like everything's all good. And Tony's here, and he's got his hat back. Everything's good. What's up, Starr? How are you? Nice to see you today. So he's happily walking the stairs. Yeah, I was supposed to go see her on Wednesday, and I didn't get an answer on the phone from her, so I didn't go over there. I was over that way, and then I don't know. I think that every minute in that place is torture for her. So if she expects to see me, she freaks out. so, so hopefully she's all right. Oh, we lost the camera. The camera down. Camera down. Hang on one second. All right, so we're back on. We got JJ and hopefully Jenn. Jenn texted me back, I think, just a minute ago. Be coming on here. I don't know. I'll try to call her in a little bit, and we'll see if we get her over here. And Twiz is watching. So yeah, I don't know if you guys watched the. How you doing tomorrow? Nice to see you. I don't know if you guys watched the 48 hours, but what a huge letdown. They didn't try to enforce the rules of the selfie or anything like that, so it remains the stupidest series I've ever seen. I mean, 48 hours is so intent on finding him guilty, and the other day I was watching, who was that? Ashley Banfield. And you know how I always say what detectives look for in a case like this is going to be motive, means, and weapon. And I do it like this. She literally stole my juju. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this lady. And please, please don't steal my moves, Ashley Banfield. So, all right. Lana is saying something about some new body cam. I don't know. So I want to look at the selfie, and hopefully we'll get JJ in here in a minute. I know you guys are waiting. I got a reel for you here in a minute. Let's let a couple more people join in on the festivities here, and I'll run that. But the carnivore diet's working out good. I've lost about 10 pounds, so everything's fitting better. That's good. I have been cheating a little bit. I had some biscuits, but I haven't been too bad. I cut down on the sugar. I do have a Prime I'm gonna drink in a minute, just because it's Prime. You gotta drink it. So let's see what else here we got. Okay. Let me switch this over real right quick, and there's that, and this. I appreciate everybody being here today. Thank you for being with me. Is that it? Yeah, there it is. Okay. So, this is such a waste of time. But I do want to point some things out that I noticed about this picture also as well. And as far as the car thing goes, where is this new selfie? Are they going to show it? Oh, thank you so much, 48 Hours, for keeping us enlightened. Okay, it hasn't made it on the webs of the internet yet. Where did I... all these other creators, they got it up there, JLR and all that. Let's take a look here. Somebody's got it. Let's just go right to JLR. Because, that kilter is trying to... Alright, here we go. There he is, Mr. Tampa. Alright, where is it? 222. He was looked at alive. Here it is. Okay. Alright, so I'll blow it up for you here in a second. Alright. And this will give you a pretty idea of who we're dealing with. Now, even if it was bad lighting, and his phone was like a 1996, even a Razor would take a better picture than this. So what they've done in their effort to create this awful boogeyman motive narrative that he was jealous, look at how they have darkened this picture so much. Can you see that okay, guys? It was Zibalist. You did not miss a thing. It was the dumbest documentary. They literally cut away every 5 minutes, say Kaylee, Maddie, Ethan, and Xana 100 times, and then say in Moscow, do the whole introduction things. It's so ridiculous. Did I break my glasses? Anyway, so here, this is not what happened. There we go. Okay. So look at how much it's darkened. You can see all the pixelization is coming out now. Hold on, make it a little bigger. And they have no shame in their game whatsoever. With the last one, we suspected that they did that. It had these here, let me get down here. It had these dark lines where it looks like veins in his face, and the eyes are widened, and he's the only person in the entire universe that has a hoodie, that has to run in inclement weather and all this. And so shocking new Selfie, as much as they've added to it. But I think that what they did is they just lowered the brightness and the contrast, and we can actually put it in GIMP here and take a quicker look at it. But it's alarming how ridiculous they are. So I would imagine that if there was new footage of anything, that JLR would have been right on top of any new body cam, unless it's, let's see, let's just take a look. Yeah. I don't know what she's talking about. Body cam released 8 days ago. Okay, so maybe they're... What is this from? Oh, that's from another case. Okay, alright. So, moving on, let's get to the muse. And I'm going to get rid of that window and open a new one. Welcome in, everybody. How you doing? Angel Tiger X. Thanks for being here. Alright, and let's see here. Let's get the audio on that. And okay, that should be better now. Alright. This is this one. No, that one. This one. That one. Here we go. Okay, that and down there. One more. That boy. I'm excited to show you guys the reel, but I want to at least collect 10 more people in here. I don't know how many are watching. Thank you for watching. Twiz is watching. Yeah, Tony's back with the hat. I dug up the hat. I went on an adventure under the couch, and so everything's good there. I found the Nerds box. It has lasted over a full year. So you guys are all nerds again. And let's see here if I can find anything. And let's check out this story. Yeah, I'm gonna play it small just in case. Let's see here. Oh, these glasses will not stay on. Thank you, Tamara. Yeah, we just crossed that threshold the other day. All right, here we go.
Harrigan is live in Atlanta.
And let's see. I'm trying to think.
He has more for us. Hi, Steve.
Dana, police are calling this a random act of violence. 30-year-old Alexander Dickey, this past weekend in Columbia, South Carolina, was robbing a house in the middle of the night. He moved on to a second house. It was there he confronted 22-year-old Logan Federico. He shot her in the chest and killed her. Police say Dickey is a career criminal. If you look at his criminal arrest record, it goes page after page. 40 arrests in the past 10 years, most for car theft or burglary. Here's what the police had to say.
Dickey, he's a criminal. He's a true convict and deserves to be in jail for the rest of his life.
We spoke with Federico's father, who is simply devastated. He is also baffled, he said, by how someone with this kind of criminal arrest record can still be a free man out on the streets.
It's a tragedy, but I blame one person, and that's the person who pulled the trigger. I believe he had warrants, active warrants. Why wasn't he picked up by now? It took him killing my daughter to get picked up. He doesn't belong in society. He showed that. He's proven through his resume that he doesn't belong in a free society.
After a two-day manhunt, police captured Dickey. Bond was denied. He's now facing multiple charges, including murder. Dana, back to you.
Steve Harrigan, thank you.
Okay, so that one, a lot of hearkenings to our case, doesn't it? There was an earthquake also in northern Georgia that was felt all around the country or around the area. This is from a couple days ago.
Arresting a man suspected of killing at least 3 people in a shooting earlier this week.
The work is far from over. This arrest is a major step forward, and it is a message to those wishing to do harm or violence. And that message is very clear. This will not be tolerated in our city.
The suspect is facing multiple counts of second-degree murder. One person was also hurt in that shooting. Police say the victims were likely targeted.
There we go again. I don't see how you could have missed it.
This will not be tolerated in our city.
The suspect is facing multiple counts of second-degree murder. One person was also hurt in that shooting. Police say the victims were likely targeted.
Okay, so this one was for JJ pretty much. And I never heard it called this before. The Elephant Walk, I guess. The U.S. Air Force and the Navy. I must have broke it here. Yep, it broke. Darn it. I like these ones. Anyway, so they do something called the Elephant Walk, and it's in Japan. It's the largest ever seen, I guess. And so they're strutting their collective prowess here. Oh, I'm sorry. Wrong thing. And you can see they have the anti-aircraft and then all these jets, Harrier jets and whatnot, and then these must be the Blackhawks and all that stuff. And they got the C-130s in the back. I thought it was funny. Anyway, Elephant Walk. This is of the paranormal side here for you slapped ham freaks out there like me. This is in Bonner Springs, I think, Kentucky. And check it out.
Buddy, tell me, what the is this? And I'm not using no app. I am on County Road 2 in between State Avenue and K32. And I have never seen anything like that in my life. And it appears that little black stuff is falling down the center of it. That is just weird. And then just to let you all know, I'm not kidding here. This is real. Okay. Sorry, that's my...
I think that maybe it's from a factory ring of smoke. I don't know. Or the portal is now portable and it's showing up in Kentucky. I don't know. Okay, so I talked about this on somebody else's show the other day, and I couldn't stress the importance of it enough, I guess. It's difficult to bring new ideas to some of these other creators. And to us here at the Purge, we know this is nothing new as far as the tensions in the area, the Palouse Mountains in Moscow, Idaho. Moscow community organizes follow-up event to address religious extremism. And we know that Doug is Heather's favorite, right? And, hey, William Tardy, very nice to see you, sir. Welcome in, welcome in. However, there are problems. In May, Palouse organizations will be hosting United in Community, coming together for our community and democracy. And so the whole plan is to keep the Christ Church from growing in power in Moscow, because already they own quite a bit of property. They are taking the same path as the Scientologists do here in Clearwater. If you caught my live the other day, I'll play a piece of it a little bit later on so you guys can get caught up on the tour of downtown Clearwater I did and all the people and places that we ran into over there. Keynote speaker will be Scott Natagwa. I think I said that right. Who brings 42 years of experience in social justice advocacy and has worked extensively against authoritarianism and for including democracy. Okay, so the previous event, which drew nearly 200 Moscow residents, focused on combating Christian nationalism and featured Druzin, host of Extremely America podcast. Druzin's investigation into Christ Church and its leader Doug Wilson's growing influence on the in the community was highlighted in his podcast's second season, Onward Christian Soldiers, which has reached 1 million downloads. According to Druzin, Wilson runs a community of Reformed evangelical churches, a nationwide Calvinist church group, along with an education network of 500 classical Christian schools. While Wilson has gained national attention in Christian nationalist circles, his church members have not found success in local political offices. Allegedly, the same is true here in Clearwater. However, they do have quite an influence over the goings-on and what gets passed and what real estate transactions are allowed to happen. They've been very sneaky about getting more property, even though they've been banned from buying any more property. Some will come in, I'm an investor, I'm not a Scientologist, and then it turns out they are a Scientologist. Hi, Meg P. Very nice to see you today, my dear. Happy Mother's Day early. And to get you caught up, to guys, if you missed it, my mom was in the hospital. Within 2 hours, they did every test humanly possible, CAT scan, blood scan, the whole thing. And they've released her. My sister is there taking her back to her house. Everything's cool for Mother's Day. Looking good. Hey, Doug, how are you? Good to see you, man. And I hope you like my video today. Alright, I was gonna, my plan, I have a confession. With all this stuff, I did not have a chance to prepare the food of the Idaho 4. Carbonara, marinara, whatever, all these things. We were going to have the dog biscuits, everything. But I did not get a chance to do that. So I promise you next week's show, we'll do the Idaho 4 food. I know you came here to grow your appetites or whatever. Yeah, thank you, Meg. I appreciate it. Everybody can rest easy and enjoy their Mother's Day. My mom is going to be fine. I'm going to go see her tonight. I'm going to work a little while and then over to St. Pete to see her. Maybe I'll do a live for that one too also as well. Okay, so the upcoming United Community event will include organizational presentations, discussion groups, and collaborative planning for community action. And so if you remember the last little meeting that they had where the lady, I played the video where she was arrested for speaking out while Doug was on the stage, and then his people came and hauled her away and she was arrested, and it showed a cooperation between the sheriff, I think it was in Lewiston, that meeting, and the church. Very, he was doing his job, but, she was arrested for speaking her mind during a thing, and she was interrupting the speaker. If you remember it, it was pretty well. Anyway, this is just a display of the ongoing tension, which is a violent act, react. It's when you walk by, you don't do that in your town. You don't see somebody and flip them off. But when you're in a small town, you recognize everybody. Thank you, Tamara. I appreciate it. I got a bunch of stuff. I got a bag full of stuff for her, and the balloon and the flowers and all. So I'm excited to see her. And she's feeling better. Okay. So this is the police blotter there. Did I leave it right on where I was supposed to be? I think I did. Noise complaint on Taylor Avenue. Now I gotta go scroll down here. A bunch of loud conversations, shouting, loud singing. Shouting was fairly friendly. Sounds like just a bunch of friends being noisy. Officer responded, no report. Hold on, there was a good one there. Where was it? Okay, that and I didn't even see this one. 900 block of Blake Avenue. Someone came to the residence and opened the fire hydrant. It is spraying water everywhere. Now, I had a friend that was almost alive during something like this. We were surfing all day. Saw the fire hydrant shooting up there. They were draining. And he tried to jump over it. And he got shot 30 feet in the air. His name is Alan. And he landed on his ear and it split his dome pretty bad. Tex-Mex Thundercloud. Dun, 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 dun. Sky 10088. What's going on? My glasses are broke. I might have to go back to the blue glasses again. Alright, so somebody lost $900. Dog clinic. Where is this one I'm looking for? Maybe I don't need that Prime after all. Request to speak with an officer about a friend who has recently stopped taking their schizophrenic meds. Okay, we know who that is. Where is the bad boy problem complaint? Officer advised, dogs in vehicle. Now, we had a case here, I think it was in Florida, and a guy who has an anesthesiologist for his wife left the 3-year-old in the car for 3 hours while he went inside and played video games. The car was running. I don't know if he intentionally, whatever. And unfortunately, the child perished. And so now he's pleaded not guilty. He's out on bail. He's going on vacation with the remaining 2 kids and the wife that are alive. Okay. Pretty sick. You can pull your own judgments on that one. Also, another Heather sent me the article. I have it somewhere, but another girl was eaten in her canoe by a gator. It happened the other day. I think it was right around the corner. Once again, there's a lot of gators here. I just don't know why I haven't been able to find them. And it gets harder when it gets cold because they like to stay at the bottom. Oh, okay. Was this it? Grant Street trespassing. Oh, I remember what it was. Where is it? Dun, 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 dun. Dead air. Let's see. Schizophrenia problem again. Okay, he stopped taking his med. And then they're having a mental break. One thing leads to the other. Okay, wait, we'll get to it here. Sorry. It's here, I swear. Okay, here it is. Okay, so incident address 400 block of Taylor Ave. And time reported is 4:33, I guess would be. Is that right? I don't know how to read military time. Whatever that is. 2:33. I don't know. 2:34. Who knows? Okay, so RP was bringing groceries in today. And noticed a neighbor's security camera facing towards her door. Officers advised no report. Okay, moving on. Love Moscow. Pullman man arrested following standoff. Sounds familiar. At approximately 10:40 a.m. on Sunday, May the 4th. The Pullman Police Department responded to a domestic dispute in the 1000 block of Southwest Monta Vista Circle. 28-year-old Jason Kramlich had assaulted family members, threatened to kill them, and armed himself with a knife. Family members were able to vacate the premises. So he barricaded himself inside, and he's being charged with all these things. But somehow they managed to resolve this one peacefully. Good for you, Pullman policeman. Brian Coger's former professor denies contact with the subject. I can't even listen. She stole my moves. Means, motive, weapon. Those are the three things that detectives like. She straight stole it from me, you guys. I told you, everybody watches this show, but they don't admit it. I'm that guilty pleasure for everybody. Thank you for being in here, Sky and Leia. Okay, so a renowned forensic psychologist challenged claims made in a recent article suggesting prosecutors believe Ron Kober committed the University of Idaho to impress her, his former professor. Blum, can we just... Anything he says is just obvious BS. Can we just... Kids go to bed on him for once and for all? And, I mean, why do they keep citing him like he has any facts on the case that anybody doesn't know? He's implying conjecture into every damn thing that he does. Alright? There's the SWAT thing again. And then yes. There are new dockies. And there's some of them that are queer. I want to check. Let's see if JJ is waiting back there for me. Because if I give him too much time. Okay. He's okay. Alright, JJ. You have 7 minutes. Now, I think it's about 15 minutes on my reel here. And so we got everybody I guess we're going to get. Today, Heather is... Usually we'll take Saturdays off. Who knows? I don't usually broadcast on Saturdays, but I'll go ahead and play my reel here for you, and we'll get into it. Thanks for being here, everybody.
I'm already giving you some. A lot, all day. That's all you've been doing is begging for treats. Because they're in there. Someone left the cupboard open. You can see them all. What? You need your treats in there? Something?
All right, so as I was saying yesterday, I pulled up a YouTube video from creator Jules TCR, and that is YouTube Jules True Crime Reaction. She's great. Jules is one of the best. As a matter of fact, she's so good, I think she may even be the CFO of the YouTube Idaho 4 Detective Agency. Now, I wouldn't know. I haven't been to a board meeting in months, and they all hate me, and I don't care. Anyway, Jules posed a great question, which is, why is Judge Hippler now giving a platform to a TikTok psychic? Of course, they're out there. And this particular TikTok psychic, she has been petitioning the court for evidence documents. Petition the court. That is so Jim Morrison. Anybody out there know what I'm talking about? You cannot petition the court. Jim drank. Anyway, yeah, so why would Judge Hippler, of all people, why is he publicly announcing, but rather denouncing a TikTok psychic? This is because they've been waiting for some wacko to come into the midst to make us all look like TikTok psychics, because public opinion and, unfortunately, the opinion of the jury all are legitimate evidence which will eventually flow into the jury pool. Well, that's going to be dismissed, not only dismissed, but possibly categorized as we're all crazy, conspiratorial, clowny. I'm not talking about you, Drip Drop. You do good work, but that's what it is. And then it doesn't help that, recently Steve G called us all cokeheads with no life, but there's irony in that. So he says that, and then last week, did anybody happen to see the interview with Steve and the wife? Really? Where's a body movement expert when we need them? They're going to be looking at that, oh my God, I quit. You can't quit. You're fired. And speaking of fired, Hippler, what the hell are you doing? Oh, well, he's creating the poster child for all of our insane conspiracies. And that's all it is. That's the answer.
Can I ask you something? Do you think that throwing a tantrum and yelling at me is gonna... Let me finish the question. Okay. Do you think that that's gonna make me jump up and get you dinner? Cairo. Don't pretend like you can't hear me. The attitude is through the roof. Sir. You're a brat.
Do you guys get this?
Hold on a second, guys. I think Homeboy came through here. Let me, I don't know what to do. There we go. Thank you. I'll rewind that because that dog is so cute. Okay, where is it? Sorry about that. Get rid of that. Okay. And that was JJ coming through a little early. Give me about 8 more minutes, JJ. There we go. Hold on. Let me switch it back over. I apologize for that. Where was it? Luckily, I can control Media Player again. This dog just kills me.
It's gonna... Let me finish the question. Okay. Do you think that that's gonna make me jump up and get you dinner? Cairo. Don't pretend like you can't hear me. The attitude is through the roof. Sir. You're a brat.
If you guys get this question right, I will give you $100. If you're driving 80 miles per hour, how long does it take for you to go 80 miles?
80 hours. All right, takes 70 hours. 80 hours?
Final answer.
80 hours. 80 hours. How do you get 80 from 70? It's miles.
Yeah, how do you get 80 from 70?
Because I picked 70.
I don't think you guys are pushing P enough.
We're not?
No. Yeah, laugh out loud.
Do I get the 100?
Okay. Oh my God. Chicago 3408.
Beagle on our deck. Does it want to eat Noki?
It wants to, probably.
1, 2, 3! That guy's not even racing yet. Yeah, he did. He blinked.
Frozen for 13 seconds, and after that you never see the car again. But this guy got the missing part. Here we go. Slow down and still shot. And this car looks like this car. Compare the stripes at the side and also the roof lights. That's the car of Moscow, and that's the car of Latta County. By comparing the backside of the car of the Linda Lane footage, the Latta County car got a harsh angle to the downside, just like the car in the footage, while the car of Moscow got a more smoother angle. Maybe we should not see this car passing by the Linda Lane dumpster cam, and 13 seconds are enough to pass this area. Because if this car is heading to 1122 King Road home 5 hours prior to the 911 call, we have a problem. Only two possibilities. The car is driving to the King Road or passing by the way up to Valenta Drive. And there is the dumpster can.
Make it like snow. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Started last night. Show signs that stop. And I brought lots of corn for popping. Lights are way down low. So let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
Like, he has a tire iron. I'm gonna hit him head on. He's crashing my vehicle intentionally as well. He's running at me. Stop! Stop! Don't let me get it! Stop, stop!
Cut it out, cut it out, cut it out.
Thank you.
Cut it out.
Stop!
I got him, I got him.
No, he's trying to grab my gun.
Get out the cook.
Stop trying to bite me here. I'm pregnant. So I need to guess. He tried killing that lady. He tried to grab my gun. Shut up, I don't trust you. You good, dude?
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
I don't know if this is real or not. I don't think it's real because he goes right by the other surfers, and then there's another shark going the other way.
Do me a favor. Do you have anything in your mouth right now? Lift your tongue. Beautiful. Thank you.
You want to see my asshole too?
We did what we had to do. They counted on America to be passive. They were all so fucking because bombs are falling from the sky will hit the target. Time to simplify. Whoa, time to simplify.
up like a rap hangman. From YouTube fame to Idaho's wild ride, you're breaking it down, putting truths aside. Kane B got the purge, no doubt he's the king, breaking down the case like a YouTube machine. Kane B the purge, bringing heat in the booth. Facts on the table, there's no room for proof. Throwing down lyrics while the world's watching. Is it guilty or free? That's the question we're knocking. Kane B the purge, digging Idaho by storm. He's got the heat and the truth breaking the norm. We're all glued to this case, no one's letting go. Will Brian be guilty or will he be let go? Kane B's in the game, watch him lay it all bare. Will justice find the truth or just disappear in the air? Here's my bubblegum pop, you ready or not? Kane B's in the mix with the case so hot. Rap, rock, pop, he's switching it up. Dancing through the genres like a YouTube cup. Got Kane B, the purge, putting the story in flow. Breaking it down with humor, watch the case blow. Boom, Kane B's riding with electric groove. Breaking it down, yeah, he's on the move. He's got the purge, so come and watch him reign. Sipping on knowledge like it's truth on a train. Kane B the purge, taking Idaho by storm. He's got the heat and the truth breaking the norm. We're all glued to this case, no one's let go. Will Brian be guilty or will he be let go? Kane B's in the game, watch him lay it all bare. Will justice find the truth or just disappear in the air? Now here I am, R&B vibes on deck. Let's get a little smooth, but don't forget I'm bringing humor, I'm bringing the sound. But this case got us all spinning round. KB with the truth, it's hard to ignore. Like waiting for that next chapter in the lore.
Big no. Man. Oh my God.
KB with the truth, it's hard to ignore. Like waiting for that next chapter in the lore.
Alright. You wanted alligators. You got alligators. I always play this one so I know if Heather's dog is paying attention.
I'm already giving you some.
Kick her in the back. Kick her in the back.
A lot, all day. That's all you've been doing is begging for treats. Because they're in there. Someone left the cupboard open. You can see them all.
Thanks, Randy. Yeah, that was written for me by Douglas Outlaw, Backwood Beats, and Outlaw Rhythms. When you're ready to come join the group, Mr. Man there, I'm ready for you. He was trying to cock block my screen. And I found out something, a weakness of Heather's. That when maybe she likes somebody, she calls them sus. And this week she sent me a cute little picture of herself. And I think she was gauging my reaction to see. I think she probably sent it to the other guy to see what my reaction would be, to gauge what his reaction might be. If that makes any sense to you. Anyway, we'll get him on the air here. It says on air in my little thing there, but I don't need to have him like purely on. It's great. So yeah, I meant to be also, I have another confession to make. I meant to also be broadcasting on Rumble. If you haven't joined Rumble, please join us on Rumble. We're going to slowly migrate over there, and there's a lot more fun in the chat stuff, and sure, Heather, sure. Tax Max. Oh, who called, it was, who's the dumpster lady? She called it Ohio State students. She referred to the four as Ohio State students. It's good to see her truth in broadcasting and her. I'm sure she has a lot of cases to see here. Okay, so we'll wait for JJ. JJ, you can pop in any old time there, my friend. I hope you will. And let me get this up on the screen. I thought you guys would already see it. There it is. Dun, dun, dun. So I had some thoughts, and okay. This one. I actually haven't read this one. Okay, so order sealing defendants phase 2 mitigations witness list. The court having okay, it doesn't really tell you anything on this one, does it? Let's see. Nope. Okay, go back and let's see here. That's the motion, and here's the order sealing defendants phase 2 mitigation witness list. So yeah, I had a different impression on that. Order sealing reply in support of state's motion for exam pursuant. So for some reason they need to seal the reply as to whether or not the state is going to conduct an examination on Brian Kohberger. According to 48 Hours, the gag order is lifted. So I don't know. I thought they were full of all the facts. And then we have the motion to seal, reply in support of state's motion for exam. Okay, so that was the motion to reply. And so one thing that I did notice, and it's not necessarily about any of these motions, they are going to allow the family in the court the whole time. So they'll give us one, and then they can be called as witnesses at any given time. Which I think it's just the state's way of keeping everybody on its toes because they have such a crushing case here. What was the other thing? So I thought this was anyway, the state, I don't know where I got this from now, but I believe the state is going to use the witnesses from like DeSales, the character witnesses for Kohberger, against Kohberger allegedly, in the DP phase of the trial. So it will be a ploy or tactic that they use to tear down his character to make it seem that he's more deserving of this punishment. Putting a bullet in him. So let's see here. Okay, yeah, this is Miss Potts here. Let me see. Where's Miss Potts? You do a show. Okay, so I can't wait to see who she is. I have some guesses, Gigi. Oh, this is the why. Okay, yeah. So that was addressed fully well by. Make sure you go. Whoa! I didn't even see you there. Hi there, sir. How are you?
Kane, greetings, sir. Is this the Purge?
You have joined the Purge, sir. The fire is burning bright. It's nice to see you, man.
Are we purging?
We're purging. Did you get the hula burgers I left by the door?
Yeah, I just got filled up on some hula burgers. I'm ready to purge. Good to see you, sir. Appreciate the invite as always.
Yeah, nice to have you, man. Hopefully Jenn will be joining us here, and I invited your friend from last night. He was a pretty knowledgeable guy.
Buffalo Jared Revisa?
Not him. It was Schindler's List. Actually,
no, Schindler's List. That's right. Okay.
I know you like to make out. Hi, Woman Power 101. Nice to have you. And James.
I love that joke. Most folks get really offended, and that's kind of the best part. The folks last night. Who did I have on last night?
Nick. Yeah. So I thought he would add a nice. I put it in the chat. Maybe he missed it. But I thought he would. No,
I just sent him a text and I sent him the link as well. So he said he'd join us.
Oh, that'd be great. That's awesome. Okay, I have.
I thought you were talking about Phil Cesaro. That dude, he's an agent of the Dewey Decimal System. That dude's a wealth of knowledge of all sorts of books.
Awesome. Yeah. Oh, Nick. No, I was talking about Phil. I'm sorry. Phil was.
Yeah, Phil, dude. Phil's great. I've already got him booked for another show coming up on Friday the 13th.
Yeah, that guy's amazing.
Of next month. Oh, Phil's great. Yeah.
So he didn't.
We're gonna do a. Oh, go ahead.
You didn't send him a text?
No, I can. Though, if you want to, he might be around. I'll shoot him a message right
see
now.
if he's not doing anything on a Saturday and have him join us. I would love to hear some of his inputs.
Well, yeah, check this out. He's actually read that Blum book because he reviews books for a living.
Yeah, he was saying it was 150 pages of pure gibberish, I'm sure.
Yeah, we talked about it more offline. We were talking about doing a review of it, but yeah, he might be willing to come on and talk about that today. Even who knows?
That'd be badass. Yeah, yeah. Blum. It just seems like the narrative. He'll just say anything to try and make it fit. And did you see the? I'm always talking about means, motive, and weapon. What's her name? Ashley Banfield straight stole my move. I was just like, are you kidding me, dude? It's like.
Well, let's revisit the Blum situation for a second. Who is Howard Blum, and why is he doing these things? Why is he serving as the centerpiece of propaganda for the mainstream media talking points, right? From his stories and narratives, his false stories and false narratives. And, once again, we're back to Bob Cocaine Evans because, I was talking about this the other night towards the end of my show. I wasn't really planning on talking about it, but I got lost in a Cocaine Bob fueled time warp. And I was correct. It was Graydon Carter. He is the co-founder of Air. Totally forgot. My apologies, sir.
No worries. All right.
I'm contractually obligated to say that, so I'll just call him C-Bob. How about that?
C-Bob. We know what C-Bob is now. We defined it. Maybe it's the repetition they keep hitting me with. But anyway, so
I do say it a lot because it's every time I say his name.
That show you guys did last night was freaking absolutely astounding, and all the connections from new to old. With C-Bob. Cocaine Bob there is
Yayo Bob
astounding.
How about that? How about Yayo Bob?
Yayo Bob is good. And
so that's his boy Graydon Carter. So him and Graydon Carter go way back. That's the guy who he approved to make the documentary of his life. The kid stays in the picture. So Graydon Carter, that was back in 2003. Graydon Carter is the co-founder of Airmail in 2019. So that is Howard Blum's boss and all this shit. So, it's owned by this equity firm that is financed by the Washington State Employees Pension Fund to the tune of $1.5 billion to show the interest. But it is old Yayo Bob's buddy Graydon Carter's outfit Airmail that is employing Howard Blum in this business.
And yeah, so he wrote his autobiography for him. So he's a kind of a ghostwriter, I guess, right?
No, so the autobiography was somebody else. I forget the writer of that. It was a co-authored by Yayo Bob, but that was back in '94. So in 2003, Yayo Bob wanted to make it on a film. So his autobiography a film. So he got Graydon Carter to produce it.
I wonder if we got our sticky little fingers in everybody's pie. If that line comes from C-Bob or whatever. I mean, he's literally in everywhere you turn. Not just Hollywood, in politics as well, and then you have with your connections on the Gooch and all this other stuff. It's clear to see that there are people behind the scenes writing this crap for us to believe, and
that's an excellent point, sir. And I must ask you another question. Are you cloning me and spying on me? Because why are we wearing similar shirts today? We didn't plan this.
I'm showing a little more boob than you are. I think.
You got a little more breast and cleavage action.
I think you got more suntan than I do right now. Actually, I've been trying to hang my arm out the window as I do the door dashes. trying to work on that tan, but it's not hitting the face.
I think what you're seeing there, sir, is the redness of my Scots Irish Cherokee heritage. So I'm from various very red folk, as a result of which I'm very red.
There's not a creature on earth that JJ isn't somehow related to in a Charles Manson kind of way.
It provides the, like I said, it provides the hue of a stop sign. at all times of the day. Like it's been a thing in my life, my entire life. Like especially in the military, because you know you're in the Middle East, someone sees you like a medic or something, like, hey man, are you okay? I'm like, look dude, I'm all right, okay, like I'm not overheated, I feel just fine, my face is normally this red.
Have you eaten too many bananas? Is it possible?
I'm filled up on hula burgers, and of course today's Purge is sponsored by chocolate paydays and some Monster Killer Brews.
I have
and, of course, type 2 diabetes.
Hold on, hold it. Say your hellos here, I'll be right back. Hold on, something's coming in the wire.
Am I the captain of the ship? If so, this is a scary ride. So I don't even know what we were talking about there besides more food. This whole idea though of Howard Blum and these cocaine Bob connections, I do think there's some deeper aspects to it with all this.
JJ,
who is this? Satan? Is that you?
But is it?
Who's talking to me?
Is Willie here?
Is that you, Kane? Oh, there you are. You're back on the screen.
Yeah,
I can't see you until you come back on the screen. I didn't know.
C-Bob,
I didn't know who was talking to me.
C-Bob, JJ, C-Bob.
My bad. Put a quarter in the yayo jar. Yeah, but I think this is just the deeper machinations of again what I call Idaho Contra, because old Yayo Bob was deeply involved in Iran Contra.
That is going to take some getting used to. Did we have somebody? It sounded like somebody was in here. Was that Willie?
I don't know. It was a lot of noise, and then I couldn't see you on the screen watching on YouTube, and I heard someone talking to me in my ear. I thought it was Satan. I didn't know what was going on.
The Dark Lord himself has found his way into my show. I thought
Lucifer Morningstar was visiting us. Yeah, I thought Lucifer Morningstar was here.
You never know. He's free from all his... So I have a Spindrift, and I've put the powder from the Prime, and it's nice and juiced up here and ready to go. These have been in the freezer, so there's a 50-50 chance this is going to spew all over the place. So hold on, folks. Okay, we're good at that. I'm cutting down on the sugar, JJ. Although this is your favorite flavor, pineapple, as you can see.
Oh, I actually do like pineapple. I'm a big fan of pineapple flavors and pineapple generally.
You said exactly the opposite last time.
Maybe I got confused with coconut. I don't like coconut. Pineapple, I'm good with coconut.
Oh, that's right.
Coconut,
we were talking about
pineapple. Good.
Some reason I was thinking about almond joys on the way there.
Nope, get them out of here. Get them out of here and the Mounds. I'm a Mound dude, but I don't like the Mound candy bars.
There we go. Those are my favorite. Coconut is really bad for you, though. It's got all the trans fats and all that.
You don't like trans fats?
Well, the yeah, no, I love trans fats. What's wrong with that?
I was going to say, you're a bigot, sir.
Worse has been said about me.
You're bigoted against trans fats. How dare you?
It's a trans fat epidemic. Yeah, pineapples are fun. Okay, so I don't know anybody that's like. I just don't like them on pizza. It's like I don't want my pizza watered down by whole tomatoes or pineapple. I want to be able to taste the dry cheese and the sauce and the bread. And then if you're talking about something that needs some soaking in, like a big thick Chicago or whatever the Sicilian crusts are, that's a whole different story. Because some of these places like Jets, they have it. It's like a piece of Texas toast with toppings on it. So did you get?
Yeah, some folks can't make pizza, Kane. I mean, there's there's a lot of places that have no idea what pizza is.
Yeah, we're pretty fortunate around here. I don't know where they're getting their ingredients and their formula, but that Rossetti's pizza that I tried to. Did you catch my Scientology pop-up video the other day?
I did not, but I would believe that the pizza epidemic of good pizza in your regions is probably due to the fact that the Yankees do spring training there, and thus there's a lot of New Yorkers.
Yeah, there's a lot of New Yorkers that have transmutated here, which I have nothing against. There's nothing wrong with transmutating.
I'd like someone to transmutate this pizza into my mouth hole.
You were ready for our Idaho 4, and again, folks, I apologize for not doing the foods of the Idaho 4 today. A lot of things came up there, but okay, now you put whole tomatoes or are those pepperonis on there?
That, sir, is John's Pizza. That's my favorite pizza in America. That's in New York City.
John's Pizza. That's the real. What is it? Ray's Pizza is actually John's.
Yeah, Ray's the knockoff of John's. Yeah, this is the original John's. This is the original John's. There's an argument over all these things, as you clearly cited. It's a delicious pie.
You can't go wrong in New York. The best pies I've had were in Long Island, but I haven't been to the city. I've flown over it. I haven't been in the city before, so I haven't had a chance. But I know, like in Mission Beach, there was a New York style pizza that was pretty. Yeah, a bunch of New Yorkers swore by. There was a time, Tony, where I did like anchovies on pizza. It was a phase. I don't know what it was. Oh man, that's great. Well, there's our next thumbnail, folks. That's great. I love the Muppets. They have such a big part in this case. They really do. All right. So did you see the big reveal on 48 Hours last night? Did you happen to catch them?
Did they reveal Judge Hitler as an actual Muppet?
They didn't reference that. They didn't reference Cy-Ray. They did say that the cell phone data puts him near the house 12 times again, and that he was stalking them, and then they tried to say he may have even gone in the house to test the waters. Of course, that was Christy Gonzalez repeating her narrative once again for the crowd.
Typical.
It was literally one of these things. Like, I figured out how you make these true crime documentaries now. You just say the victim's name, the town, and the situations as you come back from every commercial break. Put that downplay. It's not even music, it's just synth sounds on the over the talking, and then you have this dramatic thing, and then you say, oh, this is how they died. This is the way that Koberger did it. Da, 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 da. And it's like, people just love to eat that shit up. And that's literally all that it was. That whole thing, because we thought with this big release of the new Selfie that if you saw the beginning of the show, JJ, or you haven't, we're actually.
Is this the Purge?
There he is. We're actually getting that rain that I've been promising you guys today. It looks like we got a quick shower the other day. There are some good green olives. I wouldn't put a green olive on pizza to save my life. If you put pepperoni and olives on a pizza, it tastes like a steak. It's really delicious. The problem with pizza and me is you're supposed to stop at 2 slices, and 2 is never enough. Who? Yeah, definitely not green. Black olives, definitely. I don't know about like all those Kalamata olives and all those fancy Greek olives. Those are good in the little. Publix has a little olive bar, and you can, for $10, you can fill up a pound of olives, which I guess that's pretty fun. I don't usually do that one.
I must respectfully disagree, though, Kane, regarding the pineapples. I'm a big pineapple on pizza type of guy.
Did I offend you on that one? I'm sorry. I'm
offended, dude. I'm offended. I'm filing an FCC complaint against you.
I didn't know that you also had a...
I'm going to advocate they lock you up in the Federal Reserve for these kind of shenanigans.
You have a Tahitian background and heritage as well, I guess. I didn't mean
Only
to go
my taste buds. Only my taste buds are Tahitian.
Well, you think about the thing is with these pineapple pizzas, is they're just dumping it out of a can of Dole, Bob Dole.
Well,
and then they're slapping it on
if you go to a
pizza.
shitty place, for sure. I hear you. It's all about the ingredients, right?
It really is. I mean, it's the water in the dough, I guess, that makes the biggest difference.
Well, if you're making a good point, because if you get because my favorite pizza is pineapple, jalapenos, bacon, and pepperoni, and I call it a bootleg Hawaiian. And it's
Wait, what do you
can
call
taste
it?
the difference between a bootleg Hawaiian. You can taste the difference between a canned jalapeno and a fresh jalapeno and a canned pineapple. You know, there's difference. You can taste differences in these ingredients.
What's up, Rock Chuck? How you know? Yeah, the canned jalapenos are pretty good because if you ever try to eat one seed off a real jalapeno, you'll realize the
That's
you
what
make
I'm saying.
poor
I don't want
life
no
choices.
canned jalapenos on my pizza, dude.
Oh, okay.
It's not even a jalapeno, dude.
You're
I
a
don't know what
heavy,
that is.
a high Scoville fella, I guess.
I don't know what that is, and I don't know if to be offended or not, so I'm just going to keep on talking and play dumb. But what I do like fresh jalapenos.
We're not gonna make it. That's the end of the show, folks. Okay, I'm getting it together. So you made pineapple pizza and you did not watch the 48 hours big reveal. So I
didn't. I mean,
Yeah.
I did watch it, but I also didn't. I wish I didn't watch it.
Yeah, I don't want to admit to having watched it, but we thought this picture here would come up in there somehow, but it wasn't in there at all. All these big things with the car driving through the neighborhood there, all those big reveals and the gag order is lifted were not present in this. So I think they finished this documentary, obviously, because they get it from a production company weeks before any of this stuff came out. But do you see what I'm talking about? How they degraded this selfie of him to make him look menacing. I wouldn't be surprised if they elongated his face and darkened in his eyes even more. It does look like there's some type of black powdery substance or something. But you can see.
No, is that from the Meowry report?
This was the other one under the shingles on the side of the house or whatever.
They found that in the basement.
It was in the knife sheath, actually. It was they had to do a fifth walkthrough now that the house wasn't in there. But yeah, you can clearly see they have no shame in their game whatsoever, and even the media partners are happy to steal my little channels. We just hit 1,200 subs. Congratulations, The Purge. You know, but here she's watching this damn show, whether it's on time or off, in fast or slow. But Ashley Banfield's straight going, if it's motive and it's me, and they have none of it, and they're trying to create all this with these ridiculous shows in the minds of the people. And if you couldn't have thought of a way to infect more people with this train of thought, then I think this documentary, it was, I don't know. I hopefully people could see how stupid it was, but I don't think that's a general consensus. But definitely.
Well, I mean, it's got a lot of music and lights and dramatic. You know, they do a good job in their psychological warfare with these things. They're well versed in it. So, but here's my question: is nope, forgot it. Please continue.
Hey, Rock Jock, Amor, welcome in. Sky 1088. James Mowens here. Nice to see you, Mr. Fawcett. Amber Ray, pineapple pizza is effing good. Pineapple Canadian bacon jalapeno served with ranch. Yeah, okay. Let me ask you a question, JJ, about jalapeno.
I do pepperoni instead of that. Whatever they call those Canadians call bacon. I do pepperoni and regular bacon.
Those darn Canadians.
I do American bacon. Here in America, we eat regular bacon.
It takes so freaking long to cook bacon, though. I guess maybe if you do it at a high temperature.
It's worth it. It's worth it.
Yeah, a lot of people burn it. But Rockford is a Canadian.
Still good.
Wait, let me ask you a question. So if you put an actual fresh jalapeno on a pizza and you cook the pizza, it takes away some of the hotness, right?
Nope.
Not really, huh?
I mean, any of those juices just get in your crust, dude. I mean, it's pretty delicious, if that's what you're asking.
Well, I'm just saying, I tried to bite into a raw jalapeno once. That was probably the biggest mistake. It was like, you remember when they were doing the cinnamon challenge and all that? Drink the gallon of milk.
When the CIA was running psychological warfare operations along with the CCP on TikTok, is that what you're asking me?
Was it TikTok that started? Yeah. I think it was a Facebook proliferation, actually.
Same difference. Mark Zuckerberg married to a CCPer.
Is he? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You know,
Silicon Valley is essentially bought and paid for by the CCP. I mean, it ain't just Silicon Valley Bank and FTX and Altham Labs. You know, Altham Labs is funded by the CCP, right?
By
through
Russia.
Elon Musk, buddy.
You talking about Russia?
The Chinese Communist Party, headed
Chinese,
by none other
okay.
than Winnie the Pooh.
It's missing a C. That's why I was questioning. Okay.
We removed a C for this one. It's the Chinese version.
So what do you think about this picture? It's pretty obvious they have no shame in their game, right?
Zero shame. There are a bunch of Muppets, and you have to give me 1 second. So my dog sounds like he's going to eat something out there.
Listen. I'm going to play my video from earlier this week.
Yeah, play it.
And I'll give you a little break.
Play us out.
All
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
All right, we'll have you back in a second. I'm going to play this video here for a minute. All right. Thanks, JJ. Okay, so let me go to my page. My baby's here. And let's see. I'm just going to play a little bit because I think I found Tom. Everybody talks about Tom Cruise's little bungalow thingamadabber there. And I think I found it. It's pretty much more or less right next to the flag building. And so I'm going to cut right to where I'm walking around the downtown, and you can get sort of an idea of what I'm talking about. Yeah. All right. Hey, welcome in, everybody. Yeah. All right. Let's see here. This one. Let me see if I can. Nothing will go over JJ. It's weird. Let me see. Oh, there we go. Okay. It's fine. I got it. Okay, and no, not this one. Ding dong. This one. That one. Yeah. Okay. So the reason that I started this live, I was at the Clearwater Police Department to request a appointment with. It turned out it was Detective Pilker. Somehow I read Fisher off the name tag. It was just real quick blurb, and it's about Mrs. Swan. My former art teacher at Clearwater High School was taken out with her husband in this bloody scene right here in Morningside in Clearwater, where I grew up. And so
Yo.
Who's he?
Who do you think it is?
Oh, Nick. What's up, brother?
Who else was it gonna be?
We're waiting for. We had. Hold on.
Is JJ not here?
Hold on. Where is the? Okay. I had to take the echo cancellation on. Welcome in, Nick. We got from the Occult Rejects. Where's the thing? There we go. And I can almost get it. There he is. Ta-da! And that's me over there. And JJ's on a little break right now. He had to go deal with some type of canine emergency. But yeah, nice to see you, man. How you doing?
So, all right, not too bad. Hanging in there.
Good. Yep. We're just talking about pineapple pizza a minute ago.
Oh, I like pineapple pizza.
In jalapenos with Canadian bacon. And JJ was insulting an entire country, saying that they don't have real bacon there. So I don't know if you have Canadian heritage. I don't want to mess with your cloud. But yeah, we were trying to figure out if the Scoville count goes down when you put a fresh jalapeno on a pizza, and he said no, the juices just soak into the bread, and it's better that way. So I don't know. What are your opinions on that?
I like jalapeno on pizza. Not bad. I like bacon too.
Yeah, his argument was for the real American bacon, and so I had to put him in timeout over the whole thing, and he'll be back eventually. But I was gonna play something you might be interested in here if you're watching, if you like, and I'll just scooch you guys over a little bit there and turn you around, and that's the hokey pokey right there. If you want to watch any, I did a walkthrough of Clearwater downtown Clearwater, and I was there to make an appointment with the detectives who handling the unaliving of my ex, my former. This is a great commercial. My former art teacher at Clearwater High School. So if you can see this here, hold on. And I'll let it play if you want to hang for a minute and watch.
Yeah, go for it, man.
Cool. Welcome, Nick and everybody, please. And we'll play this here while we wait for JJ to come back. For this thing, hold on, let me make it a little smaller. Alright. Okay. And I'm going to go on my one smoke break for the whole show. Here we go.
All right.
Be nice if we had some audio. Let me see here. Oh, it's off. Hey.
Building we have down here on Pierce Drive or Pierce Avenue. Quite a lobby. Very impressive. Poke my head in here real quick. And these are all the officers that have fallen right here. And in Clearwater. And then it's got like the history. They even have like the first wireless headset, I guess. Old radios. Stuff like that. Like I said, we got good police here. And yeah, it's a pretty impressive building. Pretty nice. And so yeah, the nice lady gave me the case number. And it's about Mina and Steven, or Mina and David Swan were unalived in their home on Flushing Avenue, which is where one of my buddies used to live, right down the street from where I was. It looks like they're throwing away a server cage over there. That's a pretty nice one. I think it's worth like $1,000. Anyway, so yeah, they left the email. I guess she's off today. So I figured I was downtown here in the heart of Clearwater, and you can kind of get an idea what it's like to be in the heart of Scientology. I guess I probably shouldn't park here since my business is over, and this is a police lot. So let's drive over a block or two and check out the Sino activity, as we call them around here. Or we used to, I don't know what they call them. But hey, what's up, Rock Chalk? Welcome in. I'm just leaving Clearwater Police Department. See, look at that server cage. Those are worth some money. I wish I could probably fit it in my car if I had a use for it. Really don't. Okay, so there's the flag building parking right there, and this is the headquarters.
I was really considering putting it in my car.
United States of Scientology. Amy Conway, good afternoon. I see this sign over here says "Keep all gators on a leash." Little mural. So yeah, there it is. There's a Scientologist for it. And they're everywhere. They're out today. This is the giant flag building. They love it when you film here. They really, it's a real treasure to them when you discuss the horrors that is Scientology and what they've done to my town in particular. And we're coming up on what used to be the Fort Harrison Hotel. I think I've actually done a live from here before. Yeah, you'll find it's pretty creepy down here. So there's the courthouse. The courthouse is still there for the city Clearwater. It seems like most cases are handled by the county. I'm gonna let this this guy go, so maybe we have a little more time to film. And so there's the Fort Harrison Hotel. That's where I think "I Can't Get No Satisfaction" by the Rolling Stones was written. And they got this little bridge over, and that's the flag building. That's the big bucks one. But there's the Fort Harrison Hotel. And if you're fool enough, you will sign up for your billionaire contract with them. Yeah, pretty crazy.
What do you think about that, Nick?
It's all Scientology, right?
Yeah, it's the downtown is completely owned now by Scientologists.
What are you saying? Clearwater?
And yeah, downtown Clearwater, and it's so well manicured, and they have all these buildings, but every single one of them is empty. You know, they have. I was
gonna ask.
Yeah, they're all state of the art, technologically advanced, and I even show where they do like their little concerts and pat themselves on the back ceremonies and stuff. And I mean, downtown is absolutely beautiful. If you don't know any better, then you would think, oh, what a lovely town. But there's nowhere. They have like a couple shops that are compulsory, like you can buy a dress that they want for $1,000 or an ice cream cone for $18. You know, like, hey, if they want to shop downtown Clearwater, let them shop. We'll make more money off them. And I do a walkthrough of it here in a minute. But I think I found Tom Cruise's condo, their penthouse. They're always talking about it's about one building over, and it's absolutely astounding. So, yeah, what do you think? Your impression of that flag building is multi-billion-dollar, unbelievable. Nobody knows.
It's wild they owned all that shit. Because I was going to ask you, from what I've heard too, a lot of those buildings are empty. It's like they bought it and just let it sit there.
Well, they not only do it downtown, they do all their brainstorming, I think, in that flag building, and then they house the prospect clear seekers in that Fort Horizon hotel in like dormitory situations. So they give up all their possessions. They go in there and they take classes all day, every day to try to level up in Scientology. And they walk around downtown in their little flag suits, like little M&M ants, you know, like an ant carrying an M&M. And they're usually in groups. You'll see that I do confront a couple of them here. And then there's the flag building, which is catty corner. I think you can see it in the distance in one of my shots here, but it is where they do the recruitment. So they'll bring in people with money from Europe that they basically know nothing about what they're getting into. They'll convince them to join, sign the contract, and take all their money and put them in the dorm. You know, you start at the bottom. Depending on how much money you have, I think you can level up with a few $100,000 with the Scientology.
It's Sea Org, right?
Sea Org, yeah. It's called it's called Flag. That big building is called Flag, but it's the Flag Recruitment Center, and it's a quite impressive facility, and they're right on the harbor of Clearwater, right there, with the big beautiful bridge going over and the big amphitheater. You'll see here. Let me play the rest for you guys here. So they've you can get a real good idea of what it looks like. And this is First Financial Resources. So what they do is they own all of the stuff. If you're buying, selling, if you're borrowing, if you're whatever, in their transaction, it's all going to be Scientology, of course. And they try to hide it, but it doesn't necessarily work. We can do another pass through. They're trying to make this quaint little area now, which I thought was hilarious. None of these businesses are anything you could walk into. Scientology, volunteer, Citizens Commission. I wonder if they'd like me if I did a YouTube live. So everything on that road that we just drove and forward is owned by Scientology. And you'll see they tried to make this one of those Biscuit Soho areas over here. It cracks me up, it really does. Let's take one more pass through downtown here, and it's pretty much all Scientology owned, which I mean it's mind blowing. So there's a better shot. Yeah, one thing, Nick, I wanted to mention is when you say that the buildings sit empty. So we have a lot of these kind of what used to be mom and pop motels that spring up along the street. Is alternate 19 there, and they used to be like British owned or whatever, and a nice place for British people to come to Tampa Bay and stay by the beach, and they give them reasonable rates. Now those are owned by Scientology, and they're blocked off, fixed up beautifully, but completely empty. Like one after the other. There's got to be 10 of them in a row on one side of the street. It's crazy.
You think they're saving that for themselves to use eventually for something?
Their dollars are growing, but their enrollment is hugely down. And so I think for tax purposes, they keep on buying real estates and these type of things, but they don't have anybody to fill them with. So I think it's mostly for tax purposes.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really odd because you see these little hotels and stuff all over the place. Nobody can stay at, and all you have left are the Hiltons and the Marriotts, where it's $750 a night to stay on the beach. You know, so they've kind of eliminated the middleman. I guess I don't know. It's wild. Here, see some more of the hotel and what they've done with that over there. That actually is a condo building. I'm sorry. And then there used to be nightclubs and stuff down here. It was never much. Downtown Clearwater was just kind of a one-horse town. And usually you see them in hordes. You'll see they have the flag, they call them uniforms on there. They see these little
Nick, greetings, sir.
biscuit-looking Sea Org, thank you, Nick. Uniforms here, and they painted the road and all this business. That's
What's
them.
up, JJ?
They love being filmed. So, yeah, let's see here. Make one more pass here. I don't know if this guy's a Scientologist or not. So, this one has another over-the-road thing. They don't like to see people. They like to avoid them at all costs. So, alright, yeah, this is the other side now coming up on the flag building. And there's, I guess, a bus stop here. Bus Central. You can see now the breadth of this building is just immense, very immense. I think if I go down this road, I can get a better idea. That's a full city block. All that Tom Cruise money that flag building takes up. And, it's a pretty impressive spot, isn't it? Dope. And usually you see there's one. Usually they're walking in groups, and so there it is, the Fort Harrison Hotel. Hi, how you doing? How's the billion-year contract going there for you? So, yeah, she'll probably report me. That's about what once he commented, we used to flip him off and yell at him when we were kids. I might have done that on my way out, allegedly. But you gotta look at the back of the Fort Harrison Hotel, because it's kind of that's the hotel right there where the lady Jennifer. I talk about it here in a second. Honestly, it's sad what it's become, but it's still nice to see. It's so nice to look at, I guess. They got it locked down like fortress, and they get away with having the walls just like Jeff Bezos. By growing the plants 18 feet high. They don't want anybody looking over. And yeah, okay. But anyway, there it is. There's the Clearwater Memorial Causeway. That's Clearwater Beach on the other side, and Clearwater Harbor right there. This was just a tiny little bridge. It's basically, what do you call those bridges? A causeway. But they built this big pass over it because they used to have to lift the gate for the boats to go under. But yeah, I'm trying to do a work all day thing today. Once again on the road to Moscow. And you can see in the very distance, let me see if I can zoom in on it. I can't really see the chat so bright right now. Sorry, welcome in everybody. But that's the Sand Key Bridge that we passed over the other day, and the building that's supposedly. So you guys, I had 3 really weird anomalous things happen because I keep doing these drive pop-up lives after delivery. If I'm out of the area, it's something neat. So the first one was that Sand Key Bridge. I did a little drive over that, and then the next day, one of the condo buildings that I was talking about almost collapsed because there was a huge crack in the foundation. And then secondly, the bridge we're looking at right in front of us is where the guy hit the ferry, right underneath that. And this ferry had no navigation lights. It was literally a pontoon boat, And so that happened the day after I was live there. And then there was one more. I'll think of it. But let me play this. Collapsing or whatever, if you remember, is over there. So let's take a look. Do one more little sweep around. So I guess that's where they have the Clearwater Jazz Holiday now. And you can see this building goes up there pretty high. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's a nice building. Looks like it's well built. And we can walk over to the Scientology area. We're gonna have the wonderful magnetic JJ Vance there. And I'll try to get in some of my steps here and walk over to Fort Harrison. So that's the Fort Harrison Hotel. This slide was for you, JJ. That is where that Jennifer,
nice,
whatever, was murdered, allegedly by the Scientologists, saying they covered it up. She was, they tried to call it a suicide. She was covered in cockroaches. I think she had 3 gunshot wounds. They called it a suicide. Clearwater police went right along with it. I just thought I'd tell you something. Let me take a little stroll over here. This doesn't say tow away or anything, I don't think. So, should be okay for a minute. Huh, Oxford English Dictionary right at the front. That's interesting. Yeah. Daft dream, expensive clothes for women, nice dresses and stuff. Yeah. Your latest Scientology apparel. They have a Starbucks and a couple of restaurants. There's just one little area where they let people look how they have the one mosey around. So I guess they split off the. This is the Tom Cruise one up there. That one penthouse. Look at the look at the penthouse up there. That's got. I think that's the one that's rumored to be Tom Cruise's. That very top one. They built that. Like they built this whole building for him. If I understand correctly. And there it is. There's the bridge. You see the building there. Downtown Clearwater. And so here it is. And this is the Capitol Theater, still owned allegedly by the city of Clearwater. It was a playhouse for a long time. And now the Scientologists own it. They bought Ruth Eckerd Hall and they bought Capitol Theater. And that's all part of the same system now. But they do have big plays that they do. Let's see what they got today. Oh, ironically enough, classic albums by the Rolling Stones. That's pretty funny. So yeah, Tom Cruise could be right up there right now. And who knows? Looks like there's a window open up there now. It's not open or I'd shout out. Maybe he's sitting on, there's like a little sun deck up there. Let me zoom in. You guys can see. Look, there's a sun deck up there. Who knows, maybe he's sitting over here in this little Scientology protected thing. So Night Ranger is right coming up. Brad Gillis just played for Ozzy. And then they got the Melissa Edwards, yeah. All this stuff clean. And check out some of these little shots. I brought my card with me. I can grab a drink or something if I want. So this is supposedly something open for fun, but there's nothing there. If you feel like dolphins, here's another one. Am I zoomed in still? I'm still zoomed in. There you go. Hope that's better. And let's see. This is kind of a nice little area, huh? Check this out right here, JJ.
Well, I like dolphins.
This is where I start talking smack.
Love Clearwater. They certainly do love Clearwater. If they don't own the business, they own the property it's on. But I can guarantee they own all these businesses. So we got Downtown Pizza Sports Bar and Grill. You got a nice Scientologist coming up over here. He's an old schooler. He's a real flag member. How's that contract working out? Good? There you go. All right, Downtown Pizza.
You can see the guy stopped and looked back, and he's just like stunned.
We pretty much just came from right over here. that's the Church of Scientology. It used to be a bank. That building right there. They don't try to hide anything. They want to take over the whole town. And there goes the cops. So that's there, over there. The guy stopped in his tracks and was looking at me. What are you gonna do? Nothing. So back at the flag center here.
The Church of Scientology used to be a bank.
We should start seeing hordes of them.
I don't know. It's displayed like a Mormon church tabernacle. The name of it up there. Let me get back up to it. Yeah. For forever when I was growing up, that was one of the main banks. You know, you only had 2 or 3 banks when I was growing up, maybe 5. Barnett Bank and whatever this one was. But you can see...
it's quite a building, yeah. I mean, that's a pretty solid structure they got there.
Yeah, and you can see right up here it says Church of Scientology. Hold on.
Here,
right here. So they've taken the original marble or whatever it is and engraved over it in with the Church of Scientology name. I don't know. It's just they want to let you know they're in charge down there. That's for sure.
Xenu told him to do that, Kane.
Well, you know, they follow his and Muscovich's direction. I'm sure only.
Did you get any footage of the Superpowers building, perhaps?
I'm sure I did in here. If you recognize it, let me know.
They don't try to hide anything.
Yeah, they dropped $60 million on building a structure down there, brand new structure, called the Superpowers building. I don't know what goes on in there, but I got a lot of questions. Oh,
So next time I'm down there, I was muted. Sorry. Next time I'm down there, I'll make sure I get the Flag Recruitment Center, and I'll see if I can find the Superpowers building.
Yeah, I'll get you an address. No worries.
Perfect. Yeah, that'll be great. That'll be prepared going in. I do have an appointment with the detective to talk about the murder of my former art teacher. So.
They finally caught up with you, huh?
Well, I went down there.
And his bushy eyebrows.
Yeah, they weren't looking for an Elantra at that point, and I was actually.
Well, they are now. I called it in.
Fair enough.
And there goes the cops. So that's there, over there. The guy stopped in his tracks and was looking at me. What are you doing? Nothing. So back at the flag center here. We should start seeing hordes of them. This is where they picket out front.
Did we lose you, Kane?
And
no, I'm just fast
big
forwarding.
battles. I don't know what this is. Geopolitical.
Okay.
Type of clothing. Fancy clothing for
It
women.
just started raining here too.
And I got a nice.
So this building I have on my picture here. I actually took Nick when he came to DC. We did some tours of some places. I took him by that spot there. That's the Church of Scientology building that's also attached to L. Ron Hubbard's childhood home there in DC.
Oh, in DC. Okay, yeah, you were talking about DC. This is the recruitment center there.
Well, it used to be It used to be like a museum. Now it's an actual org, I think. They've changed the whole facade of the structure is different from when I took this picture.
Did we lose Nick? Is he coming back? Where did
I'm here.
Oh, okay. I got you off screen. I'm sorry, Nick.
You recall this spot, Nick, right? The Scientology spot there near DuPont?
Yes. I think didn't they have, if I remember correctly, they had 2 or 3 spots out there.
Yeah. So this was initially just a museum attached to L. Ron's home when I lived there back when this photo was taken. So I just happened to stumble across the Cult Anonymous when they first started protesting. That was the very first protester at that site, at least. And I used to live around the corner, but that was right between my apartment and Five Guys Burgers, which originated in DC, and back at the time I think was really only in DC. So I had to go get some burgers in me quite frequently. So I would often walk past this spot, and I caught this dude the first days out there. I'm like, dude, let me take a picture. I had no idea who Anonymous was. I had no idea what this dude was doing. I just thought it was hilarious.
There's an anonymous guy out front.
Yeah, that's the guy right there saying Scientology is a cult on the picture. So I have a whole photo album of what I call it's I don't want to get too far into the pictures. It's basically just photos like this. Where you see a rally with just one dude, and I got, speaking of Los Angeles and some rock music and rain there, Kane, you might appreciate this one. There was some big St. Patty's Day festival I went out to one year, a number of years back, and it rained out there, which it often, doesn't really do. So the concert attached to it was rained out. But there was just one dude standing in the rain watching the band play. Like, that's one of my other photos in the same album.
I thought this was Willie standing out front of there saying with a sign saying JJ Vance is weird, is what my original impression.
I didn't get an IgG DNA test investigation on the man, but he might have been Willie. I don't know.
He does live in the area now.
There you go.
It's a possibility. All right, let me play some more for you guys on this.
Never noticed. I've never seen it really from a distance. I'll zoom in on that real quick. Check that out. There's preserving Clearwater's heritage. Now this is hilarious. You want to talk about something fucking funny? So these cars go by here. They have all these posters all over the place, and they put them in the malls, and they put them in fast food places, all this stuff to show how they're preserving Clearwater's heritage while raping it at the same time. How's that contract going? Good? Another $1 billion to go? Yeah, there you go. I'm not a smart ass or anything.
She was creeped out.
These are all the wonderful Scientology events. Here. Wow, isn't that wonderful? The history of Clearwater contains an eclectic array of architectural design, Mediterranean revival, Art Deco, neoclassical.
I keep breaking my own rules today, Jim.
And there you go. I don't know if we can fit Bob Evans into the picture somewhere, but I'm sure that he's got it, part of it. They all talk to each other, so the next one that sees me, I might as well just send it to her. That's be one of their little secret entrances right there, their secret businesses. Yeah.
This is the same girl I said, how's the contract?
That drives them all around.
Working out. She pops out of nowhere again.
Let's see. Clearwater Police Department officers are authorized representatives because they're paid. They pay them to do stuff off the clock.
Literally crossed the street, so she didn't think I was following.
Here's where we're driving before. And I guess we have a crosswalk over here. This is the old Peace Memorial here. And walking right up on the Fort Harrison in the flag building.
I started getting attention from this guy across the street right here.
I'm sure one of them will come talk to me any minute now because they own this area. But it's public, so they can't do shit. They can fuck off for all I care. And look at this guy. He's king of the road for sure. So here we are. Fort Harrison Hotel. What are you looking at, man? You got a problem? He's looking over here. See what he wants. See if he looks again. Look again. Hi. Want to talk? Yeah, fucking prick. That's the entrance to the flag building here. And yeah, this place is a joke, dude. It's really sad. All this money's gone into. There's nobody in there. There's honestly nobody in there.
Fucking prick.
Don't join whatever you do. And yeah, they tried to. This is called the Peace Church. There's nobody in there. It's just a Scientology-based thing. And they walk these people around through the Primrose Path, trying to get them to join Scientology, and they get millions of dollars from these people. You'd be surprised. People from Switzerland and Sweden and Belgium, they come here with all this money, looking to be clear. Look at those red lights up there over there. That's interesting. I wonder what that's all about. I don't know. But yeah, see how they have, say they beat the code because they lowered the maximum fence height is 6 feet, and so they put the bars, and then they have the brush, which gives that gets them around the code. See, so they can do whatever the fuck they want. In other words, so there we go. Yeah, not fans of them at all. There is another, the recruitment center is where it all starts. So that lady must have probably walked a little ways. And you can see, these are the little bungalows right here. They used to be the hotel rooms there. And those were, I guess, the nicer rooms or whatever back in the day. Nice avocado tree right there. Oh, there must be a stage there. I see, that's why. Look at that. They must hold their pat ourselves on the back awards in that little foyer right there with the lights or the little lanai. The whole thing's.
JJ, have you ever seen the Amy Conway was in this live, and she was just saying that her avocado tree is blooming, and you're making me drool with jealousy over here. But yeah,
I like avocados.
Yeah, those are hopefully those are nice and ripe and ready to eat, Amy. But have you ever seen those award ceremonies, Nick or JJ, where it's literally like the Grammys, and they'll give each other like Scientologist of the Year awards from David Muscovich, and of course Travolta's there and all that. Anyway,
are you asking me if I've seen it, or are you asking me if I've attended? I thought I saw you there at the last one.
I didn't make the last one, actually. Me and Muscovich had a falling out at the Silver Pole, but
was he not tall enough for the ride?
I don't even know how to respond to that. JJ, have you seen these award ceremonies that they hold?
Oh, for
Nick?
sure.
I'm sorry, Nick.
No, I don't think so.
They're disgusting. It's these
straight up under the bridge.
Like a thing they do out like out in the streets, or
no,
like
no. They have it looks like the Grammys. There it is, right there, just like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, all right. Yes, I have seen that. I've
Yeah.
seen Miscavige up there. I think just like shit talking and just like whatever, running his mouth with this type of thing behind him. I have seen that.
They hate anybody that's not a Scientologist, right? And this is Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is slated to replace Miscavige, last I heard, as the ruler of the world of Scientology. But I don't know if he wants to accept the position or not. Are you guys familiar with that?
No.
Yeah, so there were...
What happened? Xenu's calling. We're out of here.
We're going to get the... if you combine the Ziz and the Sinos, as I call them, you could have quite a force across the nation, I guess. I don't know.
JJ, me and Kane went clear. We're just waiting on you.
Oh man, I'm way ahead of y'all. I'm OT 14.
Oh fuck this guy.
He had to pull rank on us.
The cover.
Dude, I got a medal 3 times the size of Tom Cruise's medal.
You couldn't tell us until now.
Well, it's secret. You guys are now clear. I can now divulge that information to you.
Yeah.
That's how it works, right, Nick? Isn't that how it works?
Yeah, that's why I said that. That's why you can tell us now.
Yeah, that's how. Because they just built it off the OTO structure. That's an OTO move, right? Now I can tell you've attained this enlightenment.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Let me see. Yeah, what do you think of this condo? I'm not about 99% sure that this is his townhouse. Here, let me blow it up. Look at this. Look at this thing. It is very impressive as far as that top floor. It looks like it's at least the top 3 floors are his, right there. And this is about a block over from the flag building. So it's like there's one block.
Yeah. Do you remember the contractor who built that got fucking in a lot of heat and sued because he filmed it and shit and took some people in there?
No.
Wow. Yeah, I'll find the video for you.
Well, that's crazy. Yeah, they'll harass you to the ends of the earth. On that. Any thoughts on these documents, guys? I didn't really see anything that's other than the fact that they continue to hide stuff. What do you think the reason to hide whether or not the state is going to investigate his ASD. Why would they hide that?
Are you asking me?
Well, asking anybody wants to volunteer an answer.
I got a Hitler answer for you if you want that.
What would Hitler say, I wonder?
Hitler said, y'all are fucking morons. The jury can decide for themselves. Go fuck yourselves.
It never gets old. Where is Miss Potts when you need her at this point? They did give... Now, they're also going to let Brian Koberger's family in the entire trial, despite the fact that they may be called as witnesses. I guess that's
just more shenanigans, right?
That is definitely a build up to bullshit. As far as
because like you got to identify your witnesses. You can't just be fucking with the family and be like, well, they might be witnesses, even if they weren't family. You got to identify your fucking witnesses. Muppet Hitler.
Well, and then even
tell the other. Don't you have to let the other ones know what you have?
Exactly, dude. They've been playing this game the whole time, right? State's like, you guys figure it out. You guys guess what we got. We'll let you know.
I think they're also like some type of bullshit. Like I remember when I was facing a federal charge, my lawyer was saying that they can play bullshit. That if you don't ask specifics, they can be, oh, you didn't ask for that.
Oh, so that's one of the games they play.
Yeah, they'll play some game. Oh, you didn't specify that when you asked for the. There's a certain word that they asked for. For like the evidence or whatever.
The discovery.
Yep. Discovery.
Discovery. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, they play just the tip. If you don't say just the tip, then you can't have.
They definitely ain't gonna let you go balls deep.
Right. And this one, they're playing just the brick. They're just jamming bricks places in round holes. You know what I mean? Because none of this works out, and it's all a bunch of bullshit.
I'm pretty sure it's gerbils at this point that they're.
Well, Richard Gere's involved. You never know.
Is who was I gonna ask? Is a Scientologist? We found that you were saying that Chris Tucker is somehow involved in something, right?
Well, you know, it doesn't look good for old Chris Tucker, nor Brett Ratner. I didn't realize how much Brett Ratner was close with old Yayo Bob there, because Brett Ratner was basically every film from about 1996 to 2015 produced by Warner Brothers was a Brett Ratner. Every one of their major hits was including Rush Hour, was a Brett Ratner, Stephen Mnuchin production. Stephen Mnuchin was the Skull and Bones member who was also the U.S. Treasury Secretary for Donald Trump in the first administration. But yeah, Tucker came up in court cases relative to Michael Jackson victims. They alleged Tucker would pick him up. 2 different victims alleged Tucker picked him up in his private jet and took him to wherever Michael was in the world. And he's also circled in the Epstein Black Book, circled by Epstein's butler before he was put in prison and then later died an untimely death.
I didn't know Nick was the Rat King. I'm sorry, Nick. I didn't even step on your toes.
Where does it say that?
I'm reading it here in my text. I'm the Rat Daddy. I guess Rat King in the hierarchy. Anyway.
Yeah, I used to actually have like a little a Rat King Christmas ornament.
Isn't that from some movie? It's like Ratatouille.
It did. It didn't come from that. It actually came from something else. I think it was called. It looks like a king. I think you can call it a rat something else, and it is something made from like I think a different idea. But I mean, he's got like his sword up and everything. Yeah, it was pretty interesting.
So, yeah, what do you think about the appointment of that lady by Trump, the Democrat? She's a firecracker. What's her name? Is it Leah something? Or is it Department of Justice? Some type of attorney.
To be honest with you, I'm most interested in his recent appointment from 2 days ago or yesterday. Trump appointed. So one of my observations of Donald, I don't know Donald Trump. I'm not the vice president, and but one of my observations of folks in and around Trump's activities and himself, he really like once he established trust with somebody, let's say it's Kid Rock, like he'll be having a fucking global meeting about global politics and be like, let me get my buddy Kid Rock in here for some advice. You know what I mean? You ever seen that Dave Chappelle skit? He's talking about his buddy Mittens or whatever. Mac Mittens?
Yes, I actually do remember that, yeah.
Yeah, so Donald Trump's Mac Mittens is Kid Rock. So, like, Kid Rock's like street smart or whatever, so he wants him in there on meetings like Dave Chappelle jokes around about everyone needs their own Mac Mittens.
Before you know it, he'll be head of the Department of War.
Dude, they might start a Department of Rock and Roll at this rate, but the Trump appointed Janine. He's been longtime friends with Janine Pinero. They go way back, and I actually question about some of the origins of their friendship when it started, in and around Roy Cohn. His mentor Roy Cohn, but in the Process Church for that matter, because Roy was a processing. So Janine Pinero becomes the very very young first female deputy prosecutor for Westchester County, New York, in 1975. By 1978, she's appointed as the lead of this new division within the Westchester County PA District Attorney's Office called the Domestic Violence and Child Sexual Abuse. That's all she did was domestic violence and child crimes. That's all she prosecuted. When I say she prosecuted, she didn't do a good job of it. For example, have you seen the film The Jinx?
No.
Nope.
It's the story of Robert Durst on HBO. It was a docu-series where he admitted to some murders and they put him in prison over it. But he'd been murking fools across the U.S. for like about 25, 30 years before this happened. He was from a very wealthy real estate family in Westchester County, New York. One of her first cases underneath that new task force, Piro, that is, the new U.S. Attorney for the District of Washington, and recent Fox News contributor for many years. She was appointed. That was one of her first cases, was the Robert Durst case when his wife disappeared in 1982. And she disappeared from her South Salem, New York cottage. And, obviously, I don't think they ever found her body, but he was, later, I think they attributed the murder to him as well, obviously, well down the road, obviously. But, no one really investigated, and that was really her office, was seeking charges but never brought charges. And again, I question that considering Maury Terry's work on the Ultimate Evil. He highlights the epicenter of cult activity. The Process Church had their headquarters in Pound Ridge, New York, but about 4 or 5 miles down the road in South Salem, New York, right on the Connecticut border, is where Terry highlighted the cult activity, right, and the Ultimate Evil, the Process cult activity. So that's precisely where Durst lived, from a billionaire real estate family. And you were mentioning the Rolling Stones, and I didn't know the Rolling Stones wrote that song at Fort Harrison. That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
So Keith Richards, the guitarist for the Rolling Stones, in 1979, his wife Anita Pallenberg would be laying in bed of their South Salem, New York home, just down the road from where Robert Durst lived and his wife lived at the time. Literally just down the road, same time. This is 79. This is before Durst's wife disappears. But yeah, Anita Pallenberg's laying in bed with, I believe it was a 14-year-old or 15-year-old boy who just happened to commit suicide allegedly by playing Russian roulette.
Oops.
Yep. So she never got charges for the murder, for the diddling, for nothing. And that was Keith Richards' wife. And again, that was back there in South Salem. Again, these are the areas where that was focused on. Again, folks like Durst is a interesting case. And again, Piro is the one who I question with recent Trump appointments, like what's going on there? Because again, she's got so many connections in Westchester County during the Senate Sam stuff in the prosecutor's office.
Anyway, so here's something that came up in your chat last night from Tell It to L, and I was dying to have Jenn on the show today because I think this fits right into her whole, the poll was suspect and stuff like that, and what she said is that what she was told is that this whole thing was snuff. It was an 8mm. And when she said that, I got kind of shook because I thought about all the stuff Jenn was saying as far as Doug Outlaws.
Oh, you're saying this was snuff. You're saying this was snuff.
Right.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. So that's what I like the idea because that's what I'm getting at. So these folks operate in a utilitarian fashion. It's never one dimensional. It's always multi-dimensional, and that's what I was saying with like this. That's what I was kind of getting at with all this, Yayo Bob and the Westchester County and the epicenter of these activities. Yayo Bob's from Westchester County. His mom's family is very prominent in Westchester County still today in business and community.
And
so
he's
got,
that's where it originates, the process and all this 8mm stuff, I guess.
So the process originates out of an Intel. Yeah, well, definitely the 8mm stuff for sure. Yes, sir. So they're deep in the 8mm stuff, and I can get into that in a second if you like. But I like the idea relative to this because again, it's not if these folks. I'm willing to believe these folks all died. You know what I mean? It's not my problem here. Because I do think there's a lot of these other elements at play, and the Yayo Bob effect, if you will. But the Gooch, we can't disregard the Gooch factor.
Don't ever disregard the Gooch, damn it.
Nick, I routinely find Kane over here ignoring the Gooch.
Can't let that happen too much, Kane.
I got caught playing with the Gooch.
Yeah, caught playing with the Gooch.
So what's your ideas on this? Well, I don't want to give the dissertation on the process, but I will recommend folks check that out on Operation GCD and Occult Rejects. We've done lots of hours on both programs regarding this organization of the process. But to answer your question in short fashion, some of the original members do originate from Westchester County. And they are involved in real estate. So there's a big real estate factor in the Son of Sam cult. One of the leaders was called Mr. Real Estate because their family helped run this real estate. They had a real estate business and real estate board situation there in Westchester, right? They also had a real estate board. So I'm just painting out these patterns here real quick.
Well, yeah, when you talk about Berkowitz and you talk about one suspect taking all the brunt of the heat for a multi-conglomerate organization.
No, that's great. I mean, he'd be the Koberger in the situation, right?
Yeah, exactly my point.
I think he was a little bit more involved than I suspect. I don't suspect Koberger has any involvement, but you never know. He could be tertiarily involved with some of these shenanigans. Who knows, But so there's this real estate factor. So one of the OG members of the process that's in Utah still today, they came from Westchester County, and their father was on that same board with the Mr. Real Estate folks and Mrs. Real Estate from the Son of Sam stuff. So in that same regard, if you look at what's going on here, we have a bunch of real estate stuff. We got Lucifer Morningstar. We got research assistants from University of Idaho who have employed Lucifer Morningstar, an employee of Washington State University, to do weird, real estate transactions and notarium, right? And we got these drug rehab centers. These drug rehab centers, for example, the Latah County one. I got a lot of questions around rehab centers, not the least of which is BK Norton. But the one in Latah County is run by, and again, Scientology's deep into these Narcanon and rehab centers. This is something within. Scientology created Narcanon. I'm not saying that this is Narcanon here. But I'm just saying there's. Over the years they've gone by different names because of the bad PR on Narcanon. But yeah, Narcanon. When you go to Narcanon, some folks in this country get court mandated drug rehabs to Narcanon, and they don't realize they're getting taxpayer rides to a Scientology crash course is what they're getting. So run by folks who graduated Narcanon, AKA Scientologists. So anyhow, but the one in Latah County that folks gets into is run by retired officers of Moscow PD, 3 of them, 3 real estate agents, and 1 gay cowboy. Now, I'm not being derisive in any regard to this man's character, not denigrating this man's character. He calls himself a gay cowboy. So there's this weird real estate element even going around this stuff going on in Latah County, if you ask me, with the 3 Moscow PD officers and these real estate folks running this drug rehab operation.
Right there. Wait, slow it down there, New York.
And a gay cowboy. Gay cowboys?
No, there's a rehab facility in Latah County that is Narcanon.
Are you a fan of Brokeback Mountain? Is that what you're telling me?
Wow.
No, I just know it involves gay cowboys.
Haven't seen it.
I thought you were talking about Schindler's List.
Oh, that's actually his name. The gay cowboy who runs the So, Latell County, there's a rehab center. I can pull up the name and stuff for you. But if you look at the board who comprises and runs the center, so if you get busted for drug stuff in Latell County and you get mandated to rehab stuff, you'll go through this place, right? And it's run by three retired
through the state. So
through the county, right? Through the county. I mean, it's not a county operation. It's an independent nonprofit situation, or nonprofit. But it gets contracts through the state, from the county for drug offenders, right?
Right. Well, it's not just drug offenders. You have also people like DUIs, these type of things. When you going through the process of all the stuff that you have to do, you have to take psychiatric group therapy things. You have to go to classes. Yeah, go ahead.
If I may?
Sure.
Alcohol is a drug, sir. Please continue.
Okay. I don't have a problem with alcohol, but I don't know if
I didn't. Well, I mean, caffeine's a drug. I'm not saying you had a problem with alcohol. You were just saying that folks get DUIs. I mean, I've graduated 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 6 of these courses through such rehab facilities over the years. Because here's the deal. If you even smell of alcohol in the Air Force, you can find yourself going to alcohol counseling. But to be fair, though, I didn't just smell of alcohol. I had some pretty major alcohol offenses, about 4 or 5 of them early on in my career. So, they send you to the alcohol course. You get a DUI, you go to counseling. I've seen that too. Been there.
Okay. Okay, so what were we I'm sorry, JJ.
These drugs. No, you're right on. So that's what I'm saying. You get a DUI or something like that. You get a drug offense. They send you to a court-mandated rehab or counseling, right?
Yeah, I just wanted to make that clear to everybody. As far as it's county related. Each county has its own thing that they send you to. You have to complete these courses to get your DUI or whatever taken care of, or if you're arrested. And so
you're late for your counseling, sir. You're mandated for your type 2 diabetes counseling.
I missed the first 3 sessions, but I'm going to make it up at the end. I'm going to go 3 days in a row.
Make sure you pack some Kit Kats for the meetings.
That's literally how I did it when I got arrested for DUI, but I didn't get a DUI. I got a reckless driving charge, which was a misdemeanor. But I still had to do all the DUI stuff, so I know exactly.
I know what you mean. I refuse to blow on my DUI, so
yeah, me
the cop and the machine.
I had a female cop. She kept trying to get me to blow, and I asked her, was it her first day? Because they literally gave me a field sobriety, and then they gave me the option to blow, and I said no. And you can if you refuse that,
I'm not an attorney. License. Yeah, I'm not an attorney, sir. I'm also not the vice president, but I would recommend if anyone finds themselves in that unfortunate circumstance, which is highly unrecommended, not recommended at all.
Not at all.
You don't refuse all tests, refuse all blows from the cop and machines, and refuse all field sobriety tests, because what they're going to do is they're going to suspend you anyway, but you're going to save some money in the process. You're not going to get any kind of jail times, and you're also not going to have some insurance, ass blast for the next 7 years.
Yeah, that's where they got me, was the work permit. You have to pay $350 a month to be able to drive for work. And they actually pulled me over one time, and they goes, "Oh, you're fine. Looks like you were working anyway." I had paint all over me.
That's because you're driving an Elantra, dude. That's why.
It was my pickup truck, actually, when I had my pickup. But anyway, so that's a crazy... So you have Anu, you have Narconon. All these are state related, and they are
Well, they're independent organizations contracted by the state, right?
Contracted by the state, and the state doesn't know who's behind them, or do they?
Well. So how did we get in this mess? If you look back in the 1970s, this really started in California, which is kind of the hotbed for testing social norms in America. At least it has been since World War II.
Sure.
And old Ronald Reagan, who has his own interesting connections to the Process Church, and may in fact have been a member. Although Ed Sanders, the author of The Family, in his files would cite Reagan's opponent, their old moonbeam Jerry Brown, as being a member of the Process, which that makes a lot more sense than Reagan. But Reagan's got his own cult activities nonetheless, and appeared in a film with a Manson family member, Bobby Beausoleil, back in his acting days. So, old Ronnie Riggs, though, he's the one who deregulated mental health care, and then created all this privatization of it, which thrived within these cult networks. So that's what back in the 70s, that's what caused Narconon to grow. So there was some and Crimenon. So Scientology's got their hooks in the prison system through these organizations for many years.
Oh, you're
so
kidding.
Crimenon already existed then, right? In the 50s, I think is when that started in the prison. So one of these dudes in prison went through Crimenon. He got himself clear. You guys were talking about getting clear before, so congratulations. So this guy got himself clear and decided, hey man, he wrote L. Ron a letter, said, hey, Xenu came to me in a dream, and I'm a drug addict, but I can use your practices. I made up the dream part. I can use your practices to solve my drug habits. Let's do business together. And L. Ron saw some, he went cha-ching and said, let's do business, and they created Narconon.
Well, somebody brought up in the chat that Kopaka had a DUI, and that might explain something. That's an interesting thought. We don't know, Mary Holt, whether BK and Kopaka knew each other. There's no proof of that. There does seem to be some interesting links from Kopaka himself to the case. Allegedly, he was screaming, they're trying to pin the unalive into those kids to me.
Yeah, but here's what we do know about Kopaka. Those are good points, Kane. But what we know is that he served at Fort Bragg in the precise same paratrooper outfit as Brett Payne, the lead detective, who was not there at the same time. The precise same paratrooper element within the 82nd Airborne in Fort Bragg.
Right.
A lot of weird Fort Bragg connections in this situation. Not the least of which, I've been tracking this on Twixter for many years. There's a journalist by the name of Seth. I think it says Seth Harp. Let me look here. And he's been tracking all these Mexican cartels in the Army Special Forces and their collusions in drug trafficking.
And
so these have been ongoing drug trafficking matters for recent years, but I would allege these have been the same ongoing drug trafficking matters since at least 1970. When Green Beret Dr. Jeffrey McDonald's family was slaughtered in their home, stabbed in the middle of the night, basically undetected, in a case very similar to this, very similar to the Manson case, and was blamed on a satanic cult. And 8 years later, they charged Captain McDonald, a Green Beret Special Forces doctor out of Fort Bragg. They charged him with the murder of his wife and children. And then later, the Process Church attorney, the attorney for the Process Church would later represent this man in court. So what I'm saying here is these middle-of-the-night stabbings, these gruesome natures may also may serve a ritual purpose. They may serve a very utilitarian purpose within the drug trafficking cult, and they also may serve as a means and manner for production of more money through these 8mm factors, right?
It's alarming how many once I started really tuning in on you guys' shows, the similarities in the activity that it seems to be their modus operandi is just the way they operate with these gruesome events. They blame it on one guy, and they make it look, like it was a sacrifice or some crazy wacko who has no motive,
sir.
Right? Like, again, Berkowitz had no motive other than this dog telling him to do it, right? But there has to be some kind of motive in any investigation, right? That's
for sure. And I don't want to get too big into minority theories on this dog, because that dog story is both bullshit and factual at the same time. They've used the narrative to bastardize it. But what you're saying is one of the ulterior motives of all these activities is social engineering, and it's based on literally a paper written by a fellow by the name of Alan Trist or Eric Trist, Alan Trist, and he was a psychologist, doctor, PhD style and founder of the Tavistock Institute, and he wrote something called Social Turbulence, and it was controlling society through chaos and these very chaotic and polarizing events. And what could be more polarizing than convincing everyone that one man can come in the middle of the night and murder an entire house of people? And that's exactly what goes on in the Manson family. That's what they claim. Well, more than one man in the Manson family, but one man and 3 women. But nonetheless, heroic, these superhero events of folks just, murking folks in the middle of the night, undetected, right? So that causes fear and alarm in everyone's minds. And then it's chaotic and very frightening to watch somebody who, convincing folks that this whole lone person narrative, right? So Alan Trist would come to America the same time. So the Tavistock Institute the process seems to have been born out of this effort of the Tavistock. And Alan Trist would invade America the same time the Tavistock would, and so would his son. His son was the president of the Grateful Dead publishing company, the record publishing company, for their entire career. That was Alan Trist's son, Eric. And Alan Trist went to go work for UCLA with MK Ultra's Louis Jolyon West. So that's what I'm saying. So when these psychological operations run deep, but that is a big part of the narrative, is the chaos and the scare factor, if you will, the horror, because that is what that social turbulence paper actually explains. It lays it out right there in your face.
Here's the real kicker, though, is you have evidence of other assailants right there in the evidence. We have gloves, we have blood on rails, and who knows what the third one is. If it's semen, I'm literally, like Lana said, I'm going to lose my mind.
If it's semen, I'm blaming you, Kane. You got a launcher and bushy eyebrows. So.
My dad was in the Navy, but I don't know if you'd call him a seaman or not.
If you look at the evidence in that McDonald case, how much was ignored there, and then later, again, 8 years later, blamed on the man who lost his wife and children, right, in that attack, right, and he's still in prison today. But he, and again, he was a Green Beret captain, medical, PhD medical doctor for the Special Forces, but he was a Green Beret himself as well. So pretty hardcore dude, but nonetheless, again, obviously innocent, and the evidence they ignored is honestly, it might be more evidence they're ignoring in this case with the evidence you just mentioned. Like, it's pretty extensive. It's pretty extensive in this case. It's pretty extensive in that case, what they blatantly ignored, in which to frame it on the one assailant, chosen patsy that was selected there.
So it's not a first-time thing. Nick, any
you said
thoughts?
it was their MO, right? You said it was their MO, and it is this organization's MO. It is the structure of their operations, how they frame people, how you can see, again, I try to explain that this is a network of folks that operate under the surface of society in their own kind of level of society, if you will, a subculture, literally a subculture. And, occasionally it pops up to the quote-unquote normie, worldview and society and whatnot. And when it does, we see the same pattern, right? We see the same pattern when it does. And it's cases like the McDonald case or the Manson case. And again, these are both process cases we're talking about, right? And it was often alleged that all of these things were all 8mm related, right?
It's something that... Here's the thing about it, though. The only thing I can think that it turns in... Because I would imagine that these 8mm cases are, you choke somebody out or something like that, typically. Where it turns into this huge bloodbath, is that just kind of the cover-up to hide what was really going on?
Well, a bloodbath isn't part of the snuff film.
I was going to say, yeah, that sounds like a Quentin Tarantino kind of ending, right?
It's that sick, huh? Man.
Well, I do think, from what
it's that sick, Kane. It is. Sorry, you go ahead, Nick.
From what I've been told from a couple of dudes I met in Poland a while back, they had told me that stuff from Hostel is 100 legit real. They're like, that shit goes on out in European companies.
I tell you, that movie itself seemed real.
Who would not film it and then sell it? Same shit. That's why you'd have that much blood and that much stabbing. Maybe it didn't take you, a minute to do it. Maybe you did it over 5 or 10 minutes of torturing someone, filming it.
So, yeah, for sure. No, that's for sure. So yeah, so I think I can unpack both your all statements on this regard by using the Zodiac as an example. So another process-related murders. The infamous Zodiac dude wearing the hood, Nick. That correct me if I'm wrong. That looks strikingly similar to a Crowley magical hood, right?
I have a hood that looks just like it. Yeah, it's
Right.
like an Astro Argentum hood. The first time I had saw, well, I can't say the first time I saw this Zodiac. The first time I looked at like that stuff again after I kind of like left the occult community, I was like, yo, that looks just like the Astro Argentum outfit, and even that symbol that he uses is worn a lot by people like in jewelry, or you'll even see it on clothes as like as an occult symbol for Malkuth. A part of the
Yeah, so that's a sigil, right? Like that's somebody like that was a sigil dude made. He's using like some other occult symbolism to make his own sigil kind of deal.
crosshairs. I mean, maybe it could be a crosshairs, but that, in my opinion, you will see that all over occult symbolism,
Right.
Kabbalah, and then with the hood, I'm like, yo, this just looks like an occult, totally occult outfit.
It's got a cowl kind of look to it, like a all-weather cowl.
Actually, I have it here.
Isn't that what you call it? The cowl, the hood that goes over with the robe thing? Am I right? Nick, did we lose you? Did he fall out? He fell out of his chair.
We got a man down. We got a host down. We need a paramedic. We need
Call
a doctor,
998.
but like a real doctor, not a fake doctor.
Can we get a psychiatrist? There's a psychiatrist in the house. Here he goes. His Aleister Crowley mask. Yeah, it's disturbing that you own that, Nick, actually.
It came from Spain, too. Handmade.
Okay. What did that run you?
Oh, the whole outfit was, and shipped from Spain was about, I think, like about $200.
Wow.
For the whole-
Nice, dude. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's an occult takeover today here on the Purge.
It was actually made by somebody who was in the Astro Argentum, too. So
Wow. Now, what is this organization, the Astral Projection?
They say that Crowley started it. I don't believe that either. I think it existed way before him.
Something.
That one, I would say, my opinion. If people want to be like, oh, secret societies, like that one was like kind of actually secret because a lot of it's done with correspondences online, and you really only go and do initiations in person. And if you've got those type of robes, you don't always know exactly like who's there.
Yeah, because the faces are covered with Italian opera masks or whatever. When at these large
But like,
gatherings.
you could like I knew people who were in it, and they would like use certain instant messengers and shit, or like emails, and
Or
keep in
Yik-Yak.
contact. Or what?
I think a lot of these organizations are buried within chat rooms, like in Reddit or in things like
maybe,
Yik Yak for a local. Yik Yak was one of the things that allegedly Dylan Mortensen was on the morning. Now there's something that's come out allegedly from 48 Hours, the source of all truth, is that
Oh, that's a great film. That's a great film.
in his that was a good movie actually.
It's one of my favorites, dude. That's a Nick Nolte, Eddie Murphy classic.
My legs, they grew back.
Yeah.
Oh wait, was that 48 Hours?
My basketball coach in junior high used to quote that film every time he'd like come into practice. He'd quote that bit from Murphy about his car getting blown up and everything else. I was like, oh, here we go again. Watch out, guys. He's gonna quote that bit from Eddie Murphy.
Was that in the days when they could still smack you across the face if you got out of line?
Oh, for sure. Back in the good days.
Yeah, can you
Back in the
imagine if they
proper
did that
days?
these days? So one of the things, remember how they talked about his click history was.
I'd like to talk about your click history, sir.
Let's
you drive
not
a
get into my
launcher. You
click.
got
I
bushy
deleted
eyebrows.
it. I deleted mine long ago, and I ghosted it. No, I'm sorry, Nick. Go ahead.
No, I'm good. That's it.
Okay. in his click history was a search for PORN that involved overdosing females and taking advantage of them that way, allegedly.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, sir. Here's where I stand on all this stuff with 911 calls, with any Linda Lane footages and other footages and everything else. There's a fucking gag order in this case. Where are they getting this information from? And it sounds just as bunk as Howard Bloom's nonsense.
Oh, it's worse. It's way worse. So you literally have the timing data, and you have all Cyray's testimony, which is completely ignored. But then they focus on this selfie, or they focus on the asshole selfie, and try to make us look like conspiracy theorists for calling him out on it. And they double down. Now they're again saying the stalking thing, that his phone pinged 12 times next to the home. Previous to the crime. I'm sorry, Nick.
Well, I watched the Dateline episode and all this stuff, Kane. I can help you out with all this stuff. Koberger did it. I seen it on Dateline.
I'm glad you got the message. As long as you know. Pudding Pops are up for grabs now. Now you're going to get me going on orange creamsicles. Nick, would you like an orange creamsicle, sir?
Let's do it.
No, so yeah, with this angle, so Doug from Backwood Beats and Outlaw Rhythms is a electrician guy, does wiring for houses, and he'd never seen a telephone pole. And I'll play the video here coming up. I'll give you guys a 10-15 minute break to eat the hula burgers.
Yeah, slide me some of them hula burgers too, please.
I slid some under the door, so I want to get you guys caught up on that. And I pay attention because there's a TikToker in my reel here, and I'll did you see that?
We talking the one I talked about before, that sorority lady with the magical cards?
Negative. This is a 13-second missing video of the dumpster cam. And at the beginning of it, you see the state trooper or the county sheriff car drive, and this is prior. When was it? It was prior to 911 being called. So it's like, I want to say 5:30 or 8:30 in the morning. It was 5 hours prior, 7:30, 5 hours prior to the phone call, and you see this sheriff's trooper drive towards the house, and then the dumpster cam footage is cut for 13 seconds, where you would clearly see the car driving to the house. It either drove to King Road or Walento Road. Either way, it was within the vicinity of a rock being thrown at 5 hours prior to the police allegedly being called. So that's at the beginning of my reel here. Did you guys want to wrap up right now, the half with anything right now?
First off, are you sassing me, King?
I reverse cloned myself. If that helps.
I thought I was gonna enjoy some delicious hula burgers. Now you want my opinion on a video? No, I'm joking, obviously. No, that's a good point. I saw that video because I've long wondered what's the sheriff's take on any of this. He's been eerily quiet for the last couple of years.
Yeah, he was very vocal in the beginning. I thought he was going to be a big part of the case, but you don't hear anything.
He got boxed out. He got boxed out.
So, all right, Nick, anything else you want to add right now?
No, I'm good.
Okay, well, stick around. We'll do another half hour, and then I got to get to work, and then I got to see my mom and stuff. She's back from the hospital now, so if you guys will hang out, we'll do a little bit longer, and we'll extemporate on our extemporaneous activities here. So thank you for being here, guys. And
let's do it.
All right. Thank you for being here. If you're new to the Purge, please hit that subscribe button. And we also have the Occult Rejects in the house and Operation GCD. So if you guys would put the link for anybody that's not familiar with them, please sub up. And make sure you hit that like button for me. It does something to the algorithm that that pisses off the processed church. So I like that. Continue doing that. And let's see here. I gotta look for it now again. I can never find the May folder. Maybe it's the Mayflower. Hold on. Where is it? There it is. Okay, let's play that video, Kane. Switch over. Hold on. And if you just play this one more time in case you haven't watched it. Oh, this is the wrong one. Hold on. Wait, what's going on here? I clicked on the wrong one, is what's going on. Sorry. I am feeling so dumb. That's the show, everybody. Now, hold on. We got it. Me show. Where are you? Okay, as we lose viewers by the second. Here we go. That one. It's not that one. It is this one. Okay. Hold on, there you go. We're going to switch it over. You guys can talk over it if you want. I'm just going to play it. If you're there, I'll leave you open. And it's up to you. Let's see here. I got to make a new window. Dang nabbit. Hold on. I'm such a technical wizard. It's not OBS, Nick. I know you're laughing at my OBS.
Oh, you use OBS, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yo, if people know how to use that thing though, you can do some crazy stuff with that.
Yeah, I've been downloading all the plugins and stuff.
If I had the patience, I would use it, but I just don't because of everything else I do. To start using that thing would be just too much.
Yeah, I like it.
Make yourself look like the news and shit.
All right, here we go with the video. All right, and you guys are open if you'd like to make comments on anything here.
I'm already giving you some. A lot, all day. That's all you've been doing is begging for treats. Because they're in there. Someone left the cupboard open. You can see them all. What? You need your treats in there? Something?
All right, so as I was saying yesterday, I pulled up a YouTube video from creator Jules TCR, and that is YouTube Jules True Crime Reaction. She's great. Jules is one of the best. As a matter of fact, she's so good, I think she may even be the CFO of the YouTube Idaho 4 Detective Agency. Now, I wouldn't know. I haven't been to a board meeting in months, and they all hate me, and I don't care. Anyway, Jules posed a great question, which is, why is Judge Hippler now giving a platform to a TikTok psychic? Of course, they're out there. And this particular TikTok psychic, she has been petitioning the court for evidence documents. Petition the court. That is so Jim Morrison. Anybody out there know what I'm talking about? You cannot petition the court. Jim drank. Anyway,
I don't know what he's talking
so why would Judge Hippler, of all people, why is he publicly announcing, but rather denouncing a TikTok psychic? This is because they've been waiting for some wacko to come into the midst to make us all look like TikTok psychics, because public opinion and, unfortunately, the opinion of the jury all are legitimate evidence which will eventually flow into the jury pool. Well, that's going to be dismissed, not only dismissed, but possibly categorized as we're all crazy, conspiratorial, clowny. I'm not talking about you, Drip Drop. You do good work, but that's what it is. And then it doesn't help that, recently Steve G called us all cokeheads with no life, but there's irony in that. So he says that, and then last week, did anybody happen to see the interview with Steve and the wife? Really? Where's a body movement expert when we need them? They're going to be looking at that, oh my God, I quit. You can't quit. You're fired. And speaking of fired, Hippler What the hell are you doing? Oh, well, he's creating the poster child for all of our insane conspiracies. And that's all it is. That's the answer.
Can I ask you something? Do you think that throwing a tantrum and yelling at me is gonna... Let me finish the question. Okay. Do you think that that's gonna make me jump up and get you dinner? Cairo. Don't pretend like you can't hear me. The attitude is through the roof. Sir. You're a brat.
If you guys get this question right, I will give you $100. If you're driving 80 miles per hour, how long does it take for you to go 80 miles?
80 hours.
All right, takes 70 hours. 70 hours.
80 hours?
Final answer?
80
70
hours. 80 hours. How do you get 80 from 70?
It's miles.
Yeah, how do you get 80 from 70?
Because I picked 70.
I don't think you guys are pushing P enough.
We're not?
No. Yeah, laugh out loud.
Do I get the 100?
Okay. Oh my God. Chicago 3408.
Selfie go on our deck. Does it want to eat Milky?
It wants to, probably. Yeah. 1, 2, 3!
That guy's not even racing yet.
Yeah, he did. He blinked.
Frozen for 13 seconds, and after that they never see the car again. But this guy got the missing part. Here we go. Slow down and still shot. And this car looks like this car. Compare the stripes at the side and also the roof lights. That's the car of Moscow, and that's the car of Latta County. By comparing the backside of the car of the Linda Lane footage, the Latta County car got a harsh angle to the downside, just like the car in the footage, while the car of Moscow got a more smoother angle. Maybe we should not see this car passing by the Linda Lane dumpster cam, and 13 seconds are enough to pass this area. Because if this car is heading to 112 King Road home, 5 hours prior to the 911 call, we have a problem. Only two possibilities. The car is driving to the King Road or passing by the way up to Valenta Drive. And there is the dumpster can.
Are you guys there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Hey, what do you think about that missing footage?
I tell you honestly, I don't hear anything, so I really wasn't sure what I'm looking at.
Oh, he's saying that the sheriff's car passed by the dumpster cam. If you ever seen the dumpster cam footage, it's a late night infrared thing of a guy putting allegedly a knife in the side of the dumpster. It looks like, and this is that same cam that morning. I guess at 7 a.m. And you see
here we go.
Right there is 7 a.m. You see a Latah County deputy sheriff racing towards either King Road or the road right behind it, one of the two, before 911 was ever called.
Oh shit!
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see if I wouldn't be surprised if this is one of the things that the prosecution was trying to suppress, because we've always felt that law enforcement was there before the 911 call was placed. And, we wondered if that 911 call was just staged to make it look like they were calling at this point. What a wild picture this is, though. Oh, 6:47 a.m. Yeah, so literally 5 hours before you got a cop racing over there. Isn't that wild? And where you would see it more clearly again is 13 minutes or 13 seconds where the camera at the dumpster thing was frozen. Crazy, right?
Yeah, I didn't hear about this.
I think I remember hearing something about it a long time ago, but this refreshed my memory about it. So I wanted to talk about it a little bit. It's incriminating the amount of stuff, even without this, that they've suppressed already, right? And you add this into the mix, then you really have a scary scenario. Because this is literally, you have the undercover cop car there as the crimes allegedly happen. Then you have a cop racing toward the scene 5 hours before 911's called. And at this point, this is when the crowds are starting to gather out front of the house. So, I don't know. You got any opinions on that?
Oh no, I mean, I definitely think the police department's involved in covering it up. So
yeah, it's pretty clear, and
I think so. But then again, like I guess, like in my opinion, if I question if the whole thing was real, then I guess there's a lot of people involved in covering this up. Like a police department would have to be, I would think.
Yeah, and they've taken it all the way to the top with the prosecuting attorney, and then now they've even brought in and doubled down on it by bringing in the new district attorney. So they'll, and then they want to try to say that this car that isn't even Koberger's is passing by the house. That was the other thing they had in the 48 hours that they wanted to really double down on this car. They're not going to let up on this car that is, a lot of people are saying it's a green Elantra that, was involved in there. I don't know. I don't think anybody drove to the house to do this. That may have been the DoorDash driver at best. But I don't know. JJ, was that you? Thought I heard JJ.
No.
But anyway, yeah, Nick, go ahead.
Oh no, I really I don't think I had anything else to add to that, really. Again, this is news to me. So
shocking nonetheless, though, right?
Yeah, you know what I always thought was weird too, and I know this is something you guys have gone over multiple times anyway, but maybe something just to bring up and talk about. That whole them questioning those kids. It was like a few blocks away or something like that. That cop car.
The
those
Banfield
cops.
footage, sure.
Yeah, and I have seen. Oh man, I don't know. I can't remember what channel that did it. I wanted to give them somewhat of props. True, it might have been True Crime Design. They show that, like, I don't even think the police force even owned that type of vehicle because it was like, I think it wasn't electric, but I think it might have been like a mix.
It was a hybrid, yeah.
Hybrid. Like they didn't actually have one of those on the force's like roster of vehicles, right?
That was my co-star Jenn from Criminal Confidential. There's no record of them having it before or after. And if you look at the car, it looks like anything but even an undercover police car. I know they use all kind of vehicles, but it's not even set up with any lights. It doesn't have any of the stuff you would expect to see in an undercover cop car. And then they go to great lengths to mansplain the vehicle to the people that they're trying to give this ticket to. They really over sell it, in my opinion. So that's a good point. And there's something else you might have noticed on the Banfield footage is one of the kids is wearing sunglasses at night. Can you imagine any cop just being like, "Oh yeah, no, just leave your sunglasses on while I'm interrogating you."
Off right away.
Right.
Eye contact. Be able to read.
Why would they release that footage in the first place, right? Like that got released real early.
That one was I don't think it worked against them because a lot of people have found stuff in it, like the black truck coming from 1122, and it appears that one of the cops is waving him through and trying to cover the body cam during that.
Sure, I seen that. It's a good observation. I would argue just that video was released for a distraction. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do we know the cops in that video? Do we know their identities?
They are actually police officers, though they're not dressed like them at all.
No, I remember they were identified. I just don't remember their names. Do you remember the names in which the officers were involved in that?
I forgot. I remember last name R.
Where's Heather?
On one of them. Here's a different question as far as that goes. Allegedly, these guys were on panty patrol, doing the alcohol raids or whatever that night to find underage drinkers was their purpose. What other video of that night of them harassing students is there? It seems that this was all of a sudden, somehow, at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, the only one that appears. So where's 10 o'clock? Where's 11 o'clock? And allegedly that car, previously to this, was parked over at the corner club and by the grub truck. So it seems more likely that car was the one shown on the video. So it seems like the distraction is they used their own car and then they tried to say it was somebody else's.
Well, yeah, I've long thought that there was elements of law enforcement involved with tracking the victims in this throughout the day. Because how else would you not know where these folks are? If this is a hit, you got to maintain observation.
Yeah, they moved around a lot, so it would have been difficult to keep up with them.
We still don't know where anybody was that day. After like noon or whatever, when they were at that whatever their morning activities were, like we don't know the activities throughout the remainder of the day for anyone.
Right, they went to a football game, I guess, that morning, and then you do see a still picture of Kaylee at the corner club and Kaylee and Maddie walking down the street, and then at the grub truck.
Also, but the corner club was also leaked, and Jenn's brought in some questions of the dubious nature of that.
Yeah, as far as it being a Thanksgiving weekend where is their last hurrah, and the bar is empty, and there was a football game that day. It would normally be ass to ass, and here they have like the whole back of the club to themselves, which was weird.
For sure.
There's so many elements.
Who leaked it? We still don't know who leaked it.
Do you want to hear something?
We know how it was leaked, but we don't know who leaked it. We know it was leaked to that Facebook group, but we don't know how the Facebook group got it or why.
Right, and where's the whole video from the night? Because it's a still. Well, right.
Exactly. So then it draws into question: is it even legitimate at that point? That's what I'm saying. With all these leaks and these various videos, and even the 911 call is not official.
The 911's a joke.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but it's not an official release of it, right? It's kind of a leak. It's like a slightly more official release than this corner club footage or anything else, but it's still not really an official release. Anything Bloom sites or this wonderful Dateline. I'm not sure if I mentioned this. I watched the program last night, Dateline. It's very informative, and Brian Koberger definitely did it. Anything they get, these are all just made up shit. You know what I mean? They're just making shit up.
Yeah, they're using the same information that got proven wrong and presented as factual. Is this the enhanced Meowery report? Because I haven't seen this version. Is this part of a PowerPoint?
This is a bombshell release, exclusive to the Purge. This is the updated version of the Meowery report.
Miss Potts, are you seeing this, I hope? Oh my gosh. What does it say? But Meowery crime scene repop. That's hilarious. Repop. What does it say? Meowery commie scene repoffy.
Yeah, well, I think AI doesn't do a good job of spelling. Neither does Detective Meowery.
I thought the commie scene. Yeah, AI is not good with the texting. That's good though. Thanks, JJ. Big. You saw it here first, folks, and this is the updated, advanced.
So it's
version.
a bombshell. It's the bombshell.
Yeah,
this is breaking Idaho news.
We solve the case twice a day, and
we solved it.
We
solved it.
Koberger did it. and don't question anything. How dare you?
Koberger definitely did it. Dateline told me.
This one really gives it a lot of depth, though. The Maori.
Dateline told me Koberger did it.
That should be.
Well, that's context.
The PowerPoint.
It's needed context in this matters.
I mean, they could be even 48 hours.
It should be case closed. That's what it should be.
Yeah, they should just put him in the fire.
48 hours says he did. Dateline says he did it. Howard Bloom says he do it. Howard Bloom and old Yayo Bob's buddy Graydon Carter says he did it.
And the Gooch is hot on the trail.
Let's not forget the Gooch factor.
Let's talk about the Gooch since it's in the description of this video here, and a lot of people forget it came up.
It's in the general mindset of our society, is it not, sir? I mean, it is the Gooch.
It's something that we shouldn't point out, so we should. Is that she not only did the interviews that were so coherent and dependable with Dylan Mortensen, and
Kane, are you implying that these folks are lying? Is that what you're implying to me right now?
Well, I really appreciated the way that 48 Hours broke down the eyebrow thing, where they had, okay, this is what Dylan said, and then they're literally using the eyebrows as the identification of this guy, and it's insane. And that they're
I'm starting to get the impression that you expect more evidence than simply eyebrows.
I don't know what to expect anymore.
Gotta seal the deal.
And from what I understand, it's only one eyebrow, so maybe he was.
That's accurate. It's a unibrow, right?
All we know was a Quino then.
Right? Were they curled?
Oh man! All right, I think we've kind of covered all the topics here, guys. I'm gonna play us out.
Well, you just tickled the Gooch. You wanted to get in some more Gooch stuff there.
I was teasing you. I was seeing if you were listening.
Oh,
please.
Well, if I may provide us two closing points. One of which is 4 and several purges ago, I was talking about Steve G and his daughter Samantha Nelson, who released that shit on the same day. The media was running with that story. The same day Koberger got arrested, the same morning. That's when they first started running with that Samantha Nelson stuff in the mainstream media. Well, so it turns out Steve G did move to the Portland area for about 4 years around the time in high school there, around the time that Samantha Nelson would have been born. I'd still like to see a birth certificate because the custody filing in 2005 makes way more sense for her younger sister and not Samantha Nelson, because there is a custody filing by her mother against Steve G, but that's not until 2005. So the 2003 child makes a lot more sense still, and so does the fact that there's a lot of animosity with Christy G. But nonetheless, her points, Christy G's telling this story that Steve G's that he's from the Pacific Northwest and everything, and he's not. I mean, their family's deeply rooted in Modesto area of California, the meth capital of America. They have a lot of Nazi stuff going on in their family. They got a lot of biker stuff going on in their family. So back to these matters of Yayo Bob, the process and their murders, drug trafficking, the process and Yayo Bob always use the outlaw biker gangs. Specifically, there's a couple of them they traditionally use, but I'm just saying that is an element of this network.
They use them to do
yeah, they do the wet work, if you will. They also do a lot of the drug trafficking, right?
Sure.
Yeah, they're like the regional drug trafficking managers, right? So like you'll cartel bring it in, then you got guys like the outlaw biker gangers, Nazi type characters who will then work the regional distribution, and then you got your local distribution like 1122 King is a long-term distribution spot for many years within the Greek network, and many fraternities and sororities that have been busted for the distribution of cocaine, ecstasy, pill stamping, Xanaxes right out of their houses, including the fellow that was LARPing, pretending to be a fraternity member of Washington State University, dealing coke to the entire network. Everybody knew him as a member of the Greek system, but he was neither student nor fraternity.
Would this be the same fraternity that Steve G. Jr. was a part of, sir?
Yes, sir. As well as Caden Young. Caden Young.
Yeah, 5-year member. So I guess it's taking him a little bit longer. His sister finished.
He's on that Van Wilder program.
The Van Wilder program. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, speaking of Van Wilder, if I make another point there on your Scientology tour, when you were discussing, you and Nick had been discussing the elements of the invasion of Clearwater and how they got all this property and they don't put anything in it. They do so under assumed identities of LLCs and whatnot. But the representative for L. Ron himself, his attorney, when all that was going down in the late 70s and early 80s, was the comedian Bert Kreischer's dad.
Now that has some local ties here. Bert Kreischer is a big-time radio celebrity. We got one of those shock jock DJs, Cowhead, here, and he's best friends with Kreischer.
Yeah, Kreischer is the actual Van Wilder. He's the real Van Wilder. So he licensed. Rolling Stone came to Florida State University, the #1 party school, and asked who's the #1 partier, and everyone said Bert Kreischer because he was like a 7th-year senior. And so he licensed out of that. He got a front page article and everything else in Rolling Stone, and then Will Smith bought the rights to his life story, and then eventually sold it off and became the movie Van Wilder. But that's based on Bert Kreischer.
Are you serious?
Yeah, for sure.
Wow.
But his dad was, and you can see why Will Smith would design that. His dad was L. Ron's attorney, right, down there in Tampa, right when L. Ron first made landfall. And you can see why Will Smith would hire. Will Smith was a Scientologist at that time. So, of course, he's going to hire L. Ron's attorney's son. You know what I mean?
Wow. Wow, you did it again, JJ.
Yeah.
You did it again, sir. All right, Nick, what do you got?
Really ain't got nothing, man.
You want to plug a show or something, or?
Sure. Let me see what we got.
What do you got coming up, bud?
Let's see.
Back to the Future.
Yeah, we do. I'm really excited.
Back to the Future was good. That was great. I'm tired of these incestual movies coming around.
Right.
One of my favorite lines.
We're doing a review on it, the Occult and Esoteric review on the 21st on Operation GCD Live. Myself, Nick,
nice.
your favorite Occult Reject Kane, Cosmic Peach,
yes,
and
sir.
Jenn the Ninja.
Woo.
Nice. Yeah, then the 23rd we actually have the Mountain Builders with Gregory Little coming out. That's when it drops.
Yeah.
Mountain Builders? What's that? Give me a little taste. What might be?
A little flavor.
Yeah, that guy Gregory Little. I think I don't know. He has his PhD in psychology or something else, but like the guy's been studying mountains for like ever and has books on it and shit. And yeah, we had him on and talked to him about Mound Builders. Yeah, he had a book on this stuff. So
You talking about Nephilim now? Is this going Nephilim?
I don't know. Did he get it? I don't know if he actually touched on it himself. Did he?
I don't think he goes Nephilim. That's more of a newer, trendier thing. Back in the early '80s when he wrote this book was, he calls them the Adena Elite, which the Adena mounds. It's the giant skeletons at the base of these mounds buried in there.
Yeah, I think if anything, he seems to kind of I think the people there built the mountains. If anything.
Yeah, he had a very much native aspect to that. And again, looking into my Cherokee past, like even the Cherokee don't claim to build the mounds. They venerate the mounds. The center of their culture is on a mound in Cherokee, North Carolina. There's a mound at the center there that's the kind of their origin story in their culture, but they didn't build the mounds. Not in their words.
So you're saying mound builders? I thought you were talking about mountain builders. Okay, gotcha.
No.
Gotcha.
I thought you were talking about Cheddar Bay biscuits at Red Lobster. If you can learn anything from that, you can have a wonderful product like the Cheddar Bay biscuit, but you can still have to file bankruptcy.
Listen, I want more butter. Okay, I don't care that the butter's already in the biscuit. It doesn't matter to me. I want to see a manager. I
enjoy how this always devolves to food talk here at the Purge.
How is that devolving? That's evolving. If anything.
Well, I like to joke this is a food show that we occasionally discuss the Idaho 4 case.
It's a food show disguised as a true crime comedy channel.
There you go.
we do bring the food. Nick, what is your favorite food?
Oh man, I like a lot of different food. Fried food. Chicken. I guess like specifically. Oh man, Italian, Chinese, Greek.
Greek is good. I delivered some Greek the other day. We got a really good place. Do you have Greek City over there?
I have heard of it.
Yeah, their tzatziki sauce.
Oh, I love tzatziki.
Oh, it's got to be fresh every day. You got to make tzatziki every day.
We got a new restaurant up here, Kane. You ever heard of Jack in the Box?
Oh shit! That's foods from around the world in Jack in the Box. That clown don't play.
That is weird that they have a clown as a mascot, right?
Yeah, he's a creepy ass clown. I tell you that. And they're the one fast food chain that you can actually attribute deaths to. They started that whole E. coli wave in '96 or whatever. Offie says he's speaking facts. I grew up a block away from the main Scientology building near L. Ron Hubbard and Fountain Avenue. And he says they traffic kids, yo. And he's right. He lives right down there in Hollywood. So he's got boots on the ground over there. Opinion. Thank you, Offie, for that.
Well, they do traffic kids, according to Keith Raniere, the head of NXIVM's attorney. When he got charged with sex trafficking kids, his arraignment hearing, his attorney, one of his first statements was, "Your Honor, you can't charge my client for these things. Scientology's been doing this for many years."
Damn.
Yeah. Well, NXIVM came out of Scientology. I argue NXIVM is the Albany chapter of the process because I have documented folks of the Albany chapter bragging on podcasts claiming they never closed that chapter in 1974 and it continued in operation. And I have a photograph of a guy who's likely a member of the Society of Cincinnati, William Bainbridge, a PhD psychologist from Harvard who's their thought leader for the Neo process. And so he's likely a member. He's a confirmed member of the process. And he's likely a member of the Society of Cincinnati, but he's in a photograph with that Albany chapter in 1978 on his own website. 4 years after they allegedly closed, so they would eventually evolve into NXIVM and use the same. Again, they use the e-meter. Of course, the process calls it the P-scope, but it's the same device.
Now you got me thinking about devices as far as the Pope goes, and I did mention that there's a Tampa Bay connection to this new Chicago Pope. His brother lives in, is it Northridge or wherever Gabby Petito thing was? That's where the brother of the Pope lives. So he's right here.
Oh.
I guess that's considered Tampa Bay.
You said you enjoyed the conversation with Phil Z last night on Mine and Next Fridays. He's gonna be back on June 13th, specifically talking the Pope stuff. And I reached out to him while we're on the show here today, and he's going to join us for a future Purge to discuss his review on Howard Bloom's book.
Nice.
Oh, no, yeah, that would be great. I appreciate you doing that. Yeah, I always.
Well, yes, sir. Here at the Purge, we drop bombshells like the bombshell here with the Detective Meower report, the updated edition.
I should have put bombshell in the title, and we've solved the case. What is it, like in 4 months? Probably 80 times now.
Case solved, bombshell report. Tune into the next Purge.
And you know, it's funny that there is opposition to my channel, where that's why I'm squirrely sometimes. Not today necessarily, but with my times, because when I post that I'm going to do something, a show that has much more viewers than me will coincidentally broadcast at the same time on the same day. And
why are you getting so much heat, friend? What's that deal about? I mean, you just like to discuss other things going. You're like, I mean, no offense, I describe your show as a Idaho wrap-up show, not to diminish your knowledge of the case. I'm just saying you just kind of discuss the elements that are going on in the community. Like, why would you be getting heat? You know what I mean?
I don't think some channels like viewers getting taken away from them or I don't know. They want to punish me for something.
Well, that's ridiculous.
But they steal my stuff. They steal my thumbnails. They steal my moves with the motive, means, and weapon. The list goes on and on. And they're now
I don't
stealing-
disagree that you're being targeted, friend. I just want to know what your thoughts were on why you're getting targeted. Because I think it's a little
That's the
silly.
only thing. That's the only cage I can put it in. It's why they're stealing your stuff now too, JJ. So you're not immune.
I'm
to
fine
this.
with that. You know, the more I can disseminate my propaganda, the better. And it's, you know, when I say propaganda, I say that, you know, in the sense that combating the Idaho's propaganda, right?
Yeah, this whole thing is one big crowd. All right, guys, let me wrap it up. I gotta get and start making some steak burgers. I appreciate you guys being on once again. Nick, thank you for joining us today, and I'm gonna look forward to that show with the Mounds and the Almond Joys and all that shit. And Andy Roller, hello. She always pops in right at the end. Unfortunately, good to see you though. I hope you're listening.
Real quick, Monday night, 7:30. Me, JJ, and Julia will be live, actually, with a Ghost Hunter.
I'll be there.
Yes, sir.
You can count on it.
There you go.
If you want me to panel up on that one,
you might. Yeah, you have to use StreamYard though.
I can click into StreamYard. I got no problem with it.
I'll use it for that. You're funny. I love it. You're a good man, sir.
All right, I'll play us out while I get ready for work here. And again, thanks to the Occult Rejects and Operation GCD. Make sure you sub up over there to those guys so you can join us in our kick-ass chats on their awesome, amazing shows. So there.
Yes, sir. Well, I appreciate your time, Kane. I appreciate the Purgers, and look forward to the next Purge.
Always fun purging with you guys, and I look forward to seeing you.
Later.
All right, guys. I'm going to shut this down, and we got about 10 more minutes of purging if you want to chat it out. I appreciate everybody being here. And I'm sorry if I didn't get to everybody in the chat there. I'm obviously intently aware of nothing. Okay, here we go.
Slow down and still shot. And this car looks like this car. Compare the stripes at the side and also the roof lights. That's the car of Moscow, and that's the car of Latta County. By comparing the backside of the car of the Linda Lane footage, the Latta County car got a harsh angle to the downside, just like the car in the footage, while the car of Moscow got a more smoother angle. Maybe we should not see this car passing by the Linda Lane dumpster cam, and 13 seconds are enough to pass this area. Because if this car is heading to 1122 King Road home, 5 hours prior to the 911 call, we have a problem. Only two possibilities. The car is driving to the King Road or passing by the way up to Valenta Drive. And there is the dumpster can.
Outside is frightful, but that fire is
This is real sweet.
Since we've no place to
Wake
go,
up like snow day.
let it snow, let it
Friday the
snow, let
Friday.
it snow.
Started last
Doesn't
night.
show signs of stopping, and I brought lots of corn for popping. The lights are way down low, so let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
Like, he has a tire iron. I'm gonna hit him head on. He's crashing my vehicle intentionally as well. He's running at me. Stop! Stop! Don't let him get it! Stop, stop! Put it out, put it out, put it out. Thank you. Put it out. Stop!
I got him.
No, he's trying to grab my gun. Get out the clip. Stop trying to bite me. I'm pregnant. So I need to guess. You tried killing that lady. You tried to grab my gun. Shut up. I don't trust you. You good, dude?
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
Holy fuck!
Do me a favor. Do you have anything in your mouth right now? Lift your tongue up. Beautiful. Thank you.
Confirm your location. You want to see my asshole too?
We did what we had to do. They counted on America to be passive. They were all so fucking wrong. Because bombs are falling from the sky, will hit the target. Time to simplify. Whoa, time to simplify. Oh yeah. Come on. Drop the bomb. Oh yeah. Oh, come on. Drop the bomb. Oh yeah. Oh, come on. Bomb, bomb, bomb. Drop the bomb, bomb, bomb. Drop the bomb, bomb, bomb. Drop the bomb, bomb, bomb. Oh, come on. Drop the bomb. Oh yeah. Drop the
Can I see my right t-shirt? I don't think it's personal. Guess I'll try again another day.
Yo, KB, is that the name you claim? Rolling through genres, let me play this game. Rap like a madman, Eminem with the slang, spitting bars so sharp like a rap hangman. From YouTube fame to Idaho's wild ride, you're breaking it down, putting truths aside. Kane B got the purge, no doubt he's the king, breaking down the case like a YouTube machine. Kane B the purge, bringing heat in the booth. Facts on the table, there's no room for proof. Throwing down lyrics while the world's watching. Is it guilty or free? That's the question we're knocking. Kane B the purge, taking Idaho by storm. He's got the heat and the truth breaking the norm. We're all glued to this case, no one's letting go. Will Brian be guilty or will he be let go? Kane B's in the game, watch him lay it all bare. Will justice find the truth or just disappear in the air? Here's my bubblegum pop, you ready or not? Kane B's in the mix with the case so hot. Rap, rock, pop, he's switching it up. Dancing through the genres like a YouTube cup. Got Kane B, the purge, putting the story in flow. Breaking it down with humor, watch the case blow. Boom, Kane B's riding with electric groove. Breaking it down, yeah, he's on the move. He's got the purge, so come and watch him reign. Sipping on knowledge like it's truth on a train. Kane B the purge, taking Idaho by storm. He's got the heat and the truth breaking the norm. We're all glued to this case, no one's let go. Will Brian be guilty or will he be let go? Kane B's in the game, watch him lay it all bare. Will justice find the truth or just disappear in the air? Now here I am, R&B vibes on deck. Let's get a little smooth, but don't forget I'm bringing humor, I'm bringing the sound. But this case got us all spinning round. KB with the truth, it's hard to ignore. Like waiting for that next chapter in the lore.
Big no. Man. Oh my
KB with the truth, it's hard to ignore. Like waiting for that next chapter in the lore.